Where did I read that?
I don't
Probably
know.
Modern Horrors.
Yeah.
Welcome to SinCast, presented by Cinemasins.
All right, everybody, welcome to the SinCast. This is Chris Atkinson from Cinemasins, joined by, as always, Barrett Scher from Music Video Sins.
Hello!
And Jeremy will not be with us today, unfortunately, but, we've got a whole bunch of people in the room.
Oh, we're crowded.
Also from Cinemasins, Jonathan Watkins is here.
What's up?
And for their annual trip in here into the SinCast studio, it's Modern Horrors.
Yeah!
Woo! We have Jacob Hopkins and we have Luke Rodriguez, or Lou Rod, as we call him around here.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. This is like a thing now. Like, was this three years in a row?
Yeah, it's 3 years in a row. And, we like that because we got to talk some horror. It's October, right? I mean,
right.
Fucking Halloween. It's time to talk about some goddamn horror. And you know what? It's good that Jonathan's in here too, because of all the people who have been on the podcast and everything, who are somewhat regular or whatever you want to call it. He knows more about horror than the three normal people
That's
who
right.
are in here.
The three normal people.
That's right.
The normies.
So I'm not normal.
Yeah,
I got you.
You are not. You are not. I mean, you can come up with a whole bunch of you've seen all the Halloweens, you've seen all the Friday the 13th, you've seen all the I've seen most of them.
He's seen good stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
I do watch good ones
And he's
occasionally.
watched good stuff.
Yeah,
And
occasionally.
even good things. Guys, we wanted to see what is the state of horror this past year. What's going on?
Woo. Luke, would you like to start us off?
Yeah.
Sum up your entire podcast in the
Yes.
last 12 months.
One sentence.
Get it all out. I don't know, man. I feel like horror is booming right now. Like, I feel like we're in like a whole nother golden age from mainstream attention, just hearing people talk about horror movies everywhere. Every studio on the fucking planet wanting to get a horror property out the door in some shape or form.
Mm-hmm.
Merchandise sales are through the roof from all the people that I talk to. I don't know, man. Like, I used to look around and think, where are all the kids watching horror movies like we did growing up? And I think they're starting to kind of show their heads now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, with huge successes like, Hereditary doing big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just A24 in general being in the game is huge. Shudder introducing like the streaming market through AMC, like that's huge. Like there are so many awesome, easy ways to get great horror right now. It's at a fever pitch, I think.
Yeah, I think 2018, that has kind of been the story. I think the last 2 years we've been on here, we're just really touting indie horror the way to go, which, hey, we're still indie horror dudes. Don't get that twisted.
Yeah.
But I think mainstream horror media and all that stuff, because even with like television programming, there's shit all over the place. There's still The Walking Dead. That's really fucking tired. But there's Purge. What else have we got? We've got still American Horror Story happening. A shit ton of new things.
Hulu's Into the Dark series that they're doing.
What's the sci-fi? Sci-fi's in it heavy now.
Oh, the Night Flyers?
Yeah, Night
Channel
Flyers.
Zero.
Channel Zero is the one I'm looking for. Thanks, Jonathan.
Black Mirror.
Yeah, See, so there's so much. Like mainstream is now big theater stuff is finally catching up.
I mean,
So
you
it's a good year.
see places like IGN and The Verge and Polygon, like they're running horror movie reviews now just because they know like they're going to get clicks, because everyone's interested in horror right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The biggest horror hit this year is A Quiet Place.
Yeah, that was an enormous hit so far.
And it was Halloween could end up
it could happen.
overtaking
I don't think it's going to
it.
beat it.
Probably wouldn't.
Yeah, but an 11th film in a franchise is probably going to make over $100
That's
million.
true.
That's insanity.
Yeah, it is insane. But A Quiet Place had that great, just a great marketing concept. It sort of informed the audience that this was something that was special from the get-go. Like, and audiences responded too. Like when I went in to see this, I was worried that people would still do their same shit, but the movie's so good, it makes you not say anything.
Yeah.
There's not any good spots to like, there's no good spots to do that. And a weird psychological thing about the movie is that you think you're going to die if you do it. And you might.
You're in the dark, man.
That's right. So, what did you guys think of the mainstream ones that came out? A Quiet Place, Hereditary, and The Nun.
Yeah, so for me, I know most everybody loves A Quiet Place, and I really, really like A Quiet Place. I didn't love it as much as everyone else seemed to have loved it, or loved it. I think it's great, aesthetically beautiful. Like you said, what it's able to do with atmosphere and get even like the widest of mouth breathers to be quiet, like in a theater, like all of that's very, very impressive. But like continuity issues, and I don't know, there were just some things I would have liked to see a little bit more popular.
It'll also make you hate kids.
Yeah, I mean, I already do.
Those
so that's
fucking
not
kids, that fucking movie, man.
I know.
Jesus Christ!
Right.
Why couldn't she just take the thing? No,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
That's
have
what
you
I'm
have a
talking about.
child. You're not keeping a kid quiet.
I mean, just fucking. I know that's why you're supposed to hate them.
I mean, the only thing I would
That's
just
why they're so annoying.
I would find a stash of drugs to knock them out continuously.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's all you can do.
There you go.
Or,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
just do the thing that they. I mean, this is not really a spoiler. It's in the trailer. Like, just do the thing that they tell you can do. Like, move next to a fucking waterfall.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's right there.
Or
I thought about that actually. Like, why don't you live over here?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Like, just take them anytime. Like, do something loud.
yeah, or just not take them to town when you're going shopping.
And I'm
just
not
stay here.
promoting drugging your children. I just want to make sure.
Oh, I am.
Sounded a lot like it.
I'm going full into it today, guys. I am
Father of the year right
drugging
now.
your children. It's all good. But and then Hereditary came out over the summer, and I get the sense it's almost like The Witch in that. Now, I liked Hereditary, so it wasn't like The Witch for me, but Hereditary came with these just absolutely unbelievable reviews before it even came out. And of course, everybody, went to go see it based on these, Toni Collette could get an Oscar for this and all that. I think she's still maybe getting bandied about for that. But thinking she could be an Oscar for this. This looks good, blah, blah, blah. And then I heard you on Modern Horrors talk about the ending and how you love the ending.
Yeah.
I still, to this day, am like, I don't know if I like that ending.
Yeah, okay.
I need to watch it again, and I just recently got it on Blu-ray and everything, so I will be watching it again at some point. But
It's divisive, though, right?
it's very divisive, and that's the main reason. It's sort of slow about where it's going.
So here's why I like the ending. I was afraid it was going to be a cop out.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it, but
Right.
for those who've seen it, you can kind of figure out what I'm talking about. I didn't think we were actually going to go there and be like, yeah, cool, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I was going to be like, psych, it was this other thing the whole time, and
Yeah.
it wasn't really all that. And I'm like, I am so, sometimes that works and it's great. But for this movie, I think it just did so much build-up work to get to that point. Like, you got to give me something.
Yeah.
Give me
Especially
something.
after movies. I mean, this was A24, so after they did movies like The Witch, which we're on the same page there. After they did things like It Comes at Night, they've hyped these things up so much, so many times, and then you get your ass in the seat at the theater, and it just underdelivers, like in
Yeah.
every
You
way
thought that
imaginable.
was with It Comes at Night, too?
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. And I know that's a controversial opinion as
No,
well.
no,
but
I agree.
But I kind of expected Hereditary to be the same way, even though people that I really, really trust were raving about this thing at Sundance. And when I finally got my eyes on it, I was just floored by
It's
it.
Yeah.
geared the same way all up until the end. So that's why you expect it.
Most impressive, like that movie, and again, I want to talk carefully, but that movie isn't about what I thought it was about.
Yeah.
From the trailers and the marketing and everything. Like, to me, this was like a fundamental pivot for A24 and how they handled marketing and like how they actually wrapped up a movie. And I think it's amazing.
Marketing was great
Yeah.
on that movie.
Yeah.
That ending seems like it takes 20 minutes, and it may take only 5 for all I know, but
It's so quiet.
yeah, it's so quiet, and everybody's just sort of, you got this anticipation in you during this whole ending. You're like, we're going to see some shit, and we do, but maybe not the shit that you're expecting.
And can we retire scariest movie since The Exorcist?
Oh my God,
I
please.
wish.
And I love The Exorcist. Huge fan. I know you guys really aren't. I'm a huge fan of The Exorcist, but I'm so tired of that comment.
Yeah.
And I know that's always going to lead to the same place. People are going to be pissed and disappointed because it's It's not The Exorcist. It's like not even. I mean, it's not even the same type of movie.
Yeah, and it's almost like, have we not come out with any scary movie since The Exorcist?
What about scariest movies since Blair Witch or Scream or whatever?
I think it's
put in your movie.
I think The Exorcist is just so easy to go to for some people.
Well, it's iconic and it's old as fuck.
Yeah.
Right. So like, if you say it's a scariest thing since Tropic Thunder or whatever, that came out a few years ago.
Right.
It's not that impressive.
Yeah,
you got to say something pretty old and iconic.
I get it, but now we're getting to a point where like Blair Witch is 20 years old.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, there's been some pretty good scary movies. And,
The Descent.
Yeah, The Descent and everything. Of course, unfortunately, nobody knows The Descent except for the people in this room.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
The guy that actually directed The Descent just did Sony's
Hellboy.
Slender Man.
Oh, really?
That was a piece of shit. Oh, really? I just want to make sure while we're talking
Just
about.
go ahead and air that dirty laundry.
Wait, Neil Marshall did Slender Man?
I'm pretty sure we can check it out real quick, but I'm almost positive that I saw.
I know he's doing the new Hellboy.
Fact checking is not what Modern Horrors does, so let's not do that.
But yeah, I just want to, while we're giving theatrical horror in 2018 a pat on the back, I wanted to make sure that
Just kick it in the nuts real quick.
Yeah.
Kick it and run.
Sylvan White is what I
Yeah,
said.
Sylvan White is who I see as well.
Can you click on his name and does he have anything to do with The Descent?
He's like one of the Grip Boys or something for the fucking movie.
This should be a Modern Horrors game.
It really could be. I love it.
Maybe
Was
a writer?
he involved with The Descent?
No, he wasn't a writer.
No, look at like gaffers.
I'm looking at.
Was the Grip?
He was not a producer.
Was the best boy?
No shit.
Yeah.
Where did I read that?
I don't
Probably
know.
Modern Horrors.
Yeah.
I feel like modernhorrors.com for all your bullshit needs.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
You know what was nice though? You said it with such conviction. Though. That's
Well, I
what's
asked you
important.
to check because I know when I'm that confident about something, there's a 70% chance that I'm way off.
Wait
Yeah.
a second.
But yeah, he is doing that Hellboy thing.
Well, that looks
Doesn't
great.
look-
That does
you
look
think
great.
so?
I thought the poster looked rad that I saw. Like, I mean,
You're
Yeah,
not
it does
feeling
look
David
bad.
Harbour?
Yeah.
I'm feeling David Harbour.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's like mostly him, right? Like he actually got jacked up for
It
a while.
makes it look like so. That's
I
what I
love
thought.
that we're in a world where David Harbour is like a sex
Whoa.
symbol.
Yeah.
Look at Chris Pratt,
It's
man.
funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like my first like real time I noticed David Harbour was in that Denzel Washington movie. Was it? It wasn't The Equalizer. I don't think. Maybe it was The Equalizer. But there's a part where I think it's the. I think
I'm
it is.
thinking,
No,
I'm
I
trying
think
to
it is
think.
The Equalizer.
I think
Yeah.
you're right. No, I think you're
I
definitely
think
right.
it's The
Because
Equalizer.
he's one of the henchmen trying to get that, and he keeps going back like, "Yo, bro, this dude is not just an average dude."
Yeah, it is The Equalizer because there's a whole scene with him trapping him in his car, and David Harbour says "fuck" probably like 500 times in that scene and everything. And I was like, this guy's pretty good. He says "fuck" a lot in this scene. But,
That guy would make a good Hellboy.
but then I saw him in Stranger Things, and I was like, oh wow, it's "fuck" dude from Equalizer. And now you wrote something down here, Barrett. Did you guys watch Annihilation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you consider that horror?
We talked about
I
it.
mean, yeah. So I guess we kind of have to.
Yeah.
Unless we're assholes.
How would you did you guys like that movie?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean,
well, I mean,
it was okay.
Even
It was
if you
okay.
like that movie, that's the way you say yeah to liking it.
Yeah.
This says a lot, doesn't it?
I don't know. Like I liked Ex Machina like
Mhm.
a lot. Like I was really into that movie, so I think I expected a little bit of something else. Not even more because it gives you a lot, but just something else. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the radical designs of some creatures, but as a movie as a whole, I don't know. It was just like I didn't hate like my time with it, but also it wasn't like wow.
Sort of the same way with this. I mean, Barrett and Jeremy both really love it, so I feel like I'm out of the club.
Welcome
but,
to the MH team.
Yeah,
Come on over.
exactly. But because I remember after we watched that, and I think we do a review on it. Did we do a mini pod on it?
I think you did
we
it like
may have.
within a podcast. Or
We may
something,
have, and I said a lot of the stuff is cool in here, but I don't know if it adds up to a great movie.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy like the entire world that they've set up. in that
Have
thing.
any of you read the book?
No, I heard that helps.
It does, but what I think the problems I had with it, I think that oh my god, what's the director? I forgot his name all of a sudden.
Alex Garland.
Alex Garland, thank
He did
you.
Slender Man.
I was
think
going to say he's the Slender Man guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex Garland, Slender Man.
It's like being John Malkovich, where they keep saying that John Malkovich is in that Jewel Thief movie.
But I think he was really struggling with adapting the. I feel like I don't know if there was push and pull from the studio, but just if you've watched the movie and read the book, it's a really odd combination of him trying to insert his kind of stuff into it, but then still trying to stay to the story, and it's kind of weird. And they even asked him, because there's a trilogy, and they even asked him right after if he would do another one. He was just like, "No, I'm good." Like he was done.
I think it may
for whatever reason. So.
I think it may have the scariest moment in a movie.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The horror elements in this are some of the best horror elements I've seen in the last.
Yeah, you think so?
That I've seen. You guys have
Are
obviously
you
got a
talking
bigger
about the
catalog.
bear?
Scream Bear.
Yeah, Scream Bear.
Okay.
Well, that was cool. Like,
Yeah.
no
It was
doubt
cool.
about it. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
And her turning into the tree and all that stuff. I know, not horror is in like horrifying or anything like that, but just like the unsettling
I get
elements
you.
of all
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah, and Hereditary has
of course,
a
the whole
couple
end.
of moments for sure as well. Did you guys see The Nun?
Yeah, no.
Man.
No,
I did.
What did you think of The Nun?
I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, I thought it was. It felt like a Etch-a-Sketch version of a horror movie,
Oh.
where it was just like, these are things that have scared people in the past, so let's just kind of combine them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like it felt very much like a movie where they had a character in another movie. Let's just make a movie out of that character, but it had
Yeah.
nothing to go with
That's
on it.
because that's what
I
happened.
know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm
We've
saying.
been
But
calling
I
that
mean-
one for a long time.
Yeah,
But,
but that's all it is
well,
what
and they
you're
even
saying.
had that's exactly it. It didn't work for me, but I've read. I mean, people like it. I mean, it's making money.
Strange.
And,
Yeah, people like a lot of
so
things.
I feel like I'm on the wrong end
I
of
think
that.
it grossed more than like any other Conjuring universe
It's
movie.
getting close.
And I
like
will
it's
say-
behind the first Conjuring right now.
I also saw it at 10 a.m. on opening day, so
Yeah.
that might not have been like I had a coffee. That might not have been
Definitely
the best
not
day
the best time to,
to
watch
watch
it.
the Nun.
What do you guys think of just in general trying to turn those into universes?
just horror flicks in general, just like specifically
Yeah.
the Conjuring movies.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. I thought it was actually pretty cool, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to have sort of spin-offs and different routes to take out of something, but I haven't really seen it done really well just
yeah,
yet.
what pisses me off is that they throw these things in. Like the nun shows up in The Conjuring 2, and then like it's a scene that's like a completely apart from the movie.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck is that all about? And then she shows up in Annabelle Creation. And it's like, okay, you're building up to, it seems like you're building up to something amazing here.
Yeah.
And then when you keep throwing the nun in every fucking movie and everything, I don't know if I like it, especially considering the Conjuring movies were rooted in that whole, you know, whatever the people who were the real people.
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Ed and Lorraine Warren. Yeah. It's, and you know, that their stories are probably bullshit too, but
What?
No.
but
probably.
at least there was some sort of grounding there. At
Sure.
least at least they can come up with a pretty good tale.
Well,
Like
that's what I kind of liked about I liked The Conjuring 1 a lot, and I liked the second one less, but what's always been cool about those movies is it's kind of grounded, and it's just a kind of a good relationship tale, if nothing else, for the most part. With The Nun, like, it just kind of felt like, almost like those mid-seasons of American Horror Story where they're just, you're pointing an arrow at something. You're like, look how fucking scary this is. It's scary, right?
It's the obligatory shitty flashback episode.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, I don't want to do it, but here it is.
Are you guys still on that?
No.
American
Shit,
Horror
we've been
actually
off for a while.
just
You're
got
back on,
back
though.
on it. Yeah. I think Apocalypse is pretty cool so far.
oh really?
I just watched the pilot because when we started doing TV Sins, I just kind of thought it was a good idea to watch all the pilots.
Yeah.
And but I haven't watched it since. It was interesting.
I
though.
don't get something about so American Horror Stories on FX, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so it gets away with like all sorts of stuff because it's on a cable channel that you normally can't get away with anywhere else and everything. But still, like I'm sitting there going, why don't you go farther? A lot of times because it's like, are you going to let your kids watch even this? Or are you is it because we're so afraid of people flipping by and seeing a boob or something that, you know?
I don't know. It's weird. If you turn that into a movie, would that be rated R or would that be PG-13?
They say fuck, so it'd be R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say fuck.
They say
Yeah.
fuck only a few times an episode, but they.
I mean, Better Call Saul's like that.
Yeah, or like, did you ever watch like the South Park, like 7 Days to Air or whatever? Like, they kind of talk about like if you get your sponsors on board, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it could be sponsored. Stuff like nudity and stuff is over the line.
Right.
But saying a fuck or two is
Yeah.
not going to be a big deal
Yeah.
or whatever. But it's always weird to me that they're like strangely still censoring things.
Yeah, yeah.
In an episode that's got lots of shit you wouldn't let your kids see.
No, I agree. And American Horror Story, it's interesting that you said it's killing it right now because I think all the seasons, I think I've watched the first 3 episodes of every season.
Yeah.
And it's always good early.
Yeah.
Like it's always at least intriguing early.
The magic third.
Like even the really shitty ones.
Yep.
Like even the Roanoke House that ended up on just a terrible note.
Yeah.
Like started out
But it was
brilliantly.
so cool for like 6 or 7 episodes.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
they, and even when they transitioned to that weird part where it was the reality TV show people were in it, playing themselves.
Yeah, well, that's where I think it fell off, and it typically even from the first one, like it just falls off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it starts off strong.
I'm feeling it so far. I don't know.
Are you guys looking forward to the Suspiria remake?
Notoriously negative on my part.
I really, really am. They're actually showing. They're actually showing it at the Belcourt early.
Oh, yeah?
really?
Wait, when is this?
I think either the 30th or the 31st or
Oh,
something
yeah?
like that.
At the Belcourt. Oh,
so
very
probably-
fancy.
But it's like,
You gotta wear your tuxedo.
Yeah.
So they're not playing the original on a midnight. They're playing the actual new movie.
correct. Yeah. So it's like a week early.
Sony's releasing it.
That's awesome.
The same guy did Slender Man. Take it as fact.
That's right.
I mean, Dakota Johnson was in Slender Man, right? I
See,
mean,
there it is. It's all come
Yeah,
together.
that's
Full
what-
circle.
that's
We've got
what
it
I
all
meant.
connected
Full
today, guys.
circle.
Yeah. But no, it looks amazing to me. Like,
it looks fantastic. Tom York's doing the score from Radiohead, which I don't give a fuck about Radiohead, but like everything that he's done so far sounds creepy and like the tone is just right. The cinematography's awesome. The screenwriter doesn't really like the original movie. Like everything points to good so
Yeah.
far in my mind. It could be great. I don't know. I forget who it was. Some really large outlet like I don't know, but a huge magazine print publication. Did a really spoilery review,
oh yeah.
and they said it was very slow, like very, very slow.
Well,
Yeah,
the
it's
movie's
a
like
long
2.5
movie.
hours,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like the original?
Not really. I understand why. I think me and Jacob are kind of on the same page. Like we understand why it's kind of like this
Right.
cult icon. Like it's colorful. It's Argento. It did some things differently, but no, man, that movie's kind of slow and boring and doesn't really do much either.
Suspiria has a special place with modern horror's lore. That's probably the most hate we've ever received online is when me and Luke couldn't really decide if we remembered the ending of the original Suspiria.
I remember that.
And fuckers lost their goddamn minds.
Yeah.
Like, holy
Suspiria's-
shit, how dare we not remember?
Suspiria's the Star Wars of horror movies.
It must
man.
be.
You're right. Like you're right. And for us to say like A, we don't like it, and B, like we don't even really remember the ending. For the record, we did know the ending.
We did. We just weren't 100% sure.
Just weren't sure.
We weren't Slender Man sure.
Yeah, I think
right.
I even texted Jacob.
You
I'm like,
did.
I was like, you guys are good. No,
You're like, it's,
you know,
you're like it's
Yeah.
30 fucking years old, you know?
Yeah. Now, Jonathan, you really like Suspiria, right?
I really like Argento, especially his early stuff. Suspiria, it's not my favorite of his though, which might be a bit of a different take because I know most people that's their favorite.
No, he's got better movies for
What's
sure.
your favorite?
Probably either Deep Red or Tenebrae would be the two that I kind of go to the most.
Yeah, I haven't even seen those.
Opera is another one that's really killer. And then he actually did one not that long. Well, I mean, it was long ago, I guess, but it was 2000s. It was like 2000, 2001. It was called Sleepless.
Okay.
That's a really fun one. But no, I love Suspiria. It's a beautiful film. I love the Goblin score. There's actually, talk about terrifying scenes. There's a scene in that movie that's one of my all-time favorites with the blind guy and the dog.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That might be like Argento's best directed like sequence. So yeah, no, I'm a fan, and I'm really looking forward to this one.
Why do you think people raise that movie above all else? Or are you just different in that you like these other movies better or whatever?
I just don't think I'm as much of an art horror guy as some people might be, and
that is an arty horror movie.
And Tenebrae and Deep Red are Suspiria is not a giallo, although some people try to make it one, but it's not. And I'm more into that giallo, the murder mystery, kind of almost a slasher film. Really, is what they are, just kind of more like high art slasher films. And that's what Tenebrae and Deep Red and Opera are. So that's just more my speed. Suspiria and like Inferno, which is kind of a sequel to it. I mean, those are more like surreal and just imagery,
Also
and
roaming.
and clearly,
Yeah.
I still don't know to this day, as many times as I've seen Suspiria, I still don't know what the story really is.
Nobody does.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Argento was just like, oh, this will be fun. Let's film this and let's film this, and I'm gonna go take some meth, and
And
then
it's
we're gonna do
technically,
this.
technically
Take some
proficient.
meth?
Like it's awesome.
I don't know, whatever. Whatever he was doing. I'm gonna torture him.
Are you taking the pot?
I'm gonna go over here and torture my wife. Maybe one day I'll have my daughter naked in all her films. And,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? I'm
So
looking forward to
weird.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So weird.
Italians.
Okay, so
Let's see who I can't offend on this episode.
you said that it's been a good year for horror. So what are the indie horror movies that have come out that have sort of broken out and that people are maybe not mainstream people are talking about, but maybe it surprised you how big it was or how many people are talking about it or whatever?
I'd say one of the biggest in our little neck of the woods would be Revenge.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was huge.
Even on this podcast, like when people got on Facebook, and we talked about Revenge in the summer preview,
Right.
and I said this looks like I Spit on Your Grave Part 3 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a 2 somewhere, but I was like, this looks just like that movie, so why should I watch it? It looked horrible to me, whatever. And then I had 2 people on Facebook say, "Oh no, man, Revenge is good, man."
Yeah.
It's pretty radical.
Yeah?
I mean, it's got one of my favorite ending sequences that I've seen in recent memory in a horror film. A, just from just a storytelling perspective, and B, a technical perspective. It's just, this is chasing. It just loops around and around. I mean, it's just really, really cool, and it's really, really pretty.
Yeah.
If you really like, I have a hard time with rape revenge movies.
Same.
Okay.
It's not my favorite genre. I would
Yeah,
typically
so
like
that's
to
what I'm
avoid
saying.
it.
So I mean, I'm curious because I've had a few people tell me it doesn't matter. You got to
Yeah.
watch it. And in fact, Jennifer with the Horror Virgin
Sure.
told me that. Finley asked, does he write? He writes for
He
you
does.
guys,
He
right?
does.
Yeah, Patrick, is that
Yeah.
his name?
Patrick, yep.
Yeah. Both of them came to me and said, no, you got to see it. I mean, it's on Hulu. So it's
Luckily-
easily accessible. I just haven't watched
Luckily,
it yet.
unlike a lot of those, I feel like that just happens to be an aspect of the
Okay.
movie, and then it moves past it fairly quickly. That's just to kind of set the scene.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I feel like some, like I Spit on Your Grave,
Yeah.
like that's the point of the movie is to
jeez.
linger
It's
on
not
that.
glorified at all.
Fuck
And-
yes.
Okay.
And I think a big part of that is like it's directed by a woman.
I think it
right?
helps,
Like, I mean,
sure.
she really accents the actions that the men take before getting to that point.
Okay.
Like, hey, she wore a cute outfit and she wants to dance at dinner. That must mean everyone wants to fuck her.
Right.
You know, like that's the kind of narrative that she plays with a lot more. And whenever the deed actually happens, like it's almost just mostly B-roll through all of it. Like you don't really see too much, and it's just something that happens. Like Jacob said, to set up the good movie.
Yeah, I Spit on Your Grave was made during that time of the 70s where it was just free reign on
Yeah.
whatever you wanted the actress to do,
Yeah.
just do it. And like it's a weird, like it's almost impossible to watch to this day
Yeah.
because it does sort of like try to make it titillating or
It does, yeah.
and it's like
It
you're
does.
sitting there going, what the fuck, man? And yeah, she gets her revenge and she gets it in a great way and everything, but that seems like how they're trying to justify what they did.
I before I came over here, I finished a movie called Trauma, and I think that comes out later on in October. But even the press email that they sent out, they're like, "Don't request this movie unless you want to see some fucked up stuff."
Okay.
And I was like, "Well,
looks like,
sign
yes.
me up!" Right? So I instantly get it. And we've been talking about the movie on the podcast for a little bit. I mean, it looked very much, maybe not even rape revenge, just rape.
Yeah.
You know, which is tough, obviously. So, but we're gonna watch it because I'm like, well, this might be the next Serbian film or something that everyone talks
Oh,
about
yeah.
in these quiet little corners of the internet. So I fire it up, and it might be 2018's Serbian film. I mean,
Really?
it is graphic, it is fucked up, it's disturbing, but it does what you were just talking about, where it almost kind of makes it tittillating, like in the process. And some of these scenes go on for so long.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's
right.
tough.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, the 70s were fucking just like, I mean, I don't really know from experience. I did live in but I was like 2, so I, you know.
Well, it wasn't even horror movies specifically. I mean, like New York in the 70s was like fucked up, and so many movies were about New York. So you watch stuff like French Connection wasn't New York. You watch stuff like the 7-Ups and Serpico, whatever, and it's just so dirty and grimy.
Yeah.
And there's just peep shows and
Right.
I mean,
Which is
it's
what
just-
the Deuce has been,
Yeah,
been
yeah.
showing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll make you feel like you need to take a shower. Speaking of indie horror, what did you guys think of it, The Endless?
Oh, yeah, we've been on that train for years now. I
think we
Well,
got
yeah,
it.
because it debuted at
Tribeca 2
in
years ago.
2017, right?
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
yeah, because I remember when you guys, it was a while back when you guys saw it, because you guys told me you're going to love the shit out of this,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
I saw it at the Belcourt.
Those guys are
Ooh,
killing it right now, man.
Nicest guys too.
Yeah.
Man. Oh
absolutely.
god.
I mean,
Yeah.
they wrote that thing, they directed it, they starred in it, they edited it, they did the sound,
And they're good in it.
And
They're actually
good
they're like
all of those
especially
things.
the
Yes.
Justin guy is terrific.
Oh,
like
for
his
sure.
acting performance is great.
It reminded me a little bit of what's that movie? It's called it's that
yes.
sci-fi movie that everybody
Primer.
Primer. It's like
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know how we connected on
What
that.
what the hell happened just then?
It's like Primer, and now it's a more entertaining Primer. Primer is very slow and very technical.
God, that's better than Scarier than The Exorcist. More entertaining Primer.
Yeah.
I want that on a poster.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
I'm just. I mean, I like Primer
It's good.
fine, and then I know that there's a lot of people out there like, what? Primer's the shit, man.
Yep.
But it's one of those movies it takes a long time to get into, and it's very technical, and you have to go like, what? I had to go to Wikipedia and look up the way the time travel works in Primer. I was like, oh yeah, I got that part.
And that was one where I wish they had hired actors.
Yeah.
Because they do it. That's them. That's the filmmaker,
Yeah,
right?
them,
Yeah. That
yeah.
was. They probably shouldn't have done that.
But-
It's expensive, yo.
Yeah, but
That's
the
true.
Endless is sort of it's a more it's a more accessible, even though it's indie
Sure.
type of movie. It reminded me a little bit of Lost, a bit,
Yeah, I can see that.
and everything. But it's also connected to another movie, right?
yeah, Resolution.
Resolution. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of their movies, I mean, and by all I mean 3, they kind of share like a similar universe. Like there's the most crossover in Resolution and The Endless, but like there's some name drops. What's his name? Shitty Mike or whatever. Shitty Carl. Shitty Carl.
I love that.
Yeah, they name drop Shitty Carl in Spring. So like they're all connected a little bit.
Yeah. The Endless is on Blu-ray and stuff now, right?
Yeah.
It should be,
Yeah, it's actually on demand too. Is where I
Yeah,
watch
It's on
it.
Netflix
on
now.
Netflix.
Oh,
I
Netflix,
would say this is a huge recommend.
Absolutely.
To go watch that.
Yeah, for sure.
This surprised me how much I liked it because, yeah, you could get this element of like unsettling horror, cult drama, and stuff like that, and even throw in the time travel stuff, and even it's kind of a spoiler, I guess. No, I mean that's in the fucking trailer.
Yeah,
actually.
there's swirls in the sky and shit.
Yeah. But then you throw in like actual humor that will actually make you laugh, like
Yeah.
acerbic humor in there, like Shitty Carl, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
I always throw out, man, their second movie, Springs, the most romantic horror movie you will ever see. Like,
Yeah.
it is
I
beautiful.
can get behind that.
It is. I love that movie
Just
so much.
just check expectations going into the movie
And
because it will play with them.
Resolution was on Shudder because that's how I saw it after I saw The Illness because I didn't even know Resolution existed.
So good.
So if you have Shudder, you want to sign up for like a week or whatever for free, you can watch that.
I remember
too.
when I first saw Resolution, I spent, this is when the IMDb like message boards were still like around, and I spent at least 3 or 4 hours just looking at fan theories, like what the fuck did I just watch? And you know, as you watch more of their movies, it makes more sense, which is impressive.
Did y'all see the real life The Endless video where like the firefighters or whatever had that hose just going up into the smoke
No.
and they were trying to battle it? I don't know what the fuck happened, but like they've got
no.
like this fucking fire hose. They're battling, I guess, a wildfire or something. I don't know the science behind what happened, but it pulled that shit up in the air and it's just literally going into nothingness and they're
Oh,
fucking
wow.
battling it. It
Whoa.
looks just like The Endless. It's wild.
Interesting.
Huh. But yeah, that movie's great. And now it's another example too, and I think our audience is savvy enough to know this now. But horror movies, and if you've heard any of the other modern horror stuff that we've done, this isn't really a horror movie in the there's a scary monster,
Not scary movie,
right?
yeah.
Genre.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Genre.
Like as you said in one of the ones that you were here, you said that a lot of indie filmmakers are finding it easier to say something is horror and get money for it, and then really what it's become is a genre for people to have. If they have a great idea of some sort, like a sci-fi type of thing, or like they had the what was the one where the I'm gonna be like this all day. I'm sorry, guys. You guys recommended it, and I watched it. It's the horror rock and roll one.
Deathgasm.
Deathgasm.
Ooh.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah,
You're really good at this game, by
I
the way.
love me
Hey,
some
you guys are
Deathgasm.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they are
Deathgasm's
good
awesome.
at this. Today I'm going to be struggling to trying to find these. Like it's like that was a good movie. That movie I can't think of. But that one is another one that was sort of an example. It's more of a comedy, more
Yeah.
But like, is that sort of still still the thing that's sort of
Yeah, I would say so. It's a good catch-all for everything. And when you say horror, at least to genre fans, it opens up the door to endless possibilities. I think probably one of the shining examples of that I think most genre publications covered was Low Life.
Yeah.
That was almost like a Pulp Fiction-esque movie.
Oh, really?
Have you guys seen
I have
Low Life?
not
I
seen
haven't
that.
yet.
No.
No, it's
All
on my
right.
list.
So you guys all need to get on the list.
Crazy, raging, masked luchador man.
It's on Hulu. It just hit Hulu. So if you guys want to watch it, do it. Like Jacob said, it gets a lot of comparisons to Pulp Fiction just because it's that hyperlink kind of movie where everything leads into the next.
Oh, using that goddamn phrase.
It's
You said you would.
I'm telling you,
I know
it's
it.
the best phrase for it. It's not an anthology.
It's not, but
What is it called again?
Hyperlink. So like with the way you would click on one thing and it sort of embeds itself into the next, into the next, into the next.
Oh.
So like in Pulp Fiction kind of way. It's not an anthology. They're hyperlinked together.
Oh, okay. I mean, what was the name
He's
of the
still talking
movie?
about Low Life.
Low Life.
Oh,
Yeah.
Low Life.
Low
Yes.
Life, yeah.
I thought he was asking about hyperlink too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, sorry.
Let me break it down,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
I was sitting there going,
Let
yeah.
me flex my knowledge.
Yeah, I know what a goddamn hyperlink is.
Motherfucker, I make my money on the internet.
And then Upgrade was another one where because of Lee Whannell and Blumhouse, every preview for that they didn't try to make it a horror movie, but it was always from the producers of Get Out
Oh, yeah.
and from the writer of Saw.
Yeah, they love that shit.
And
What did you
but
think of Upgrade, by the way?
I loved Upgrade.
Loved it.
I had
Loved it?
so much fun with it. Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of the most predictable movies I've ever seen, but still loved
Yeah.
it.
Fun being the key word, though. Fun.
I don't
No,
know.
fun is right.
I don't know if the casting was dead on in a couple of the supporting roles.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm turning into you today because the main guys completely lost.
Logan Marshall Green.
Thank
It's
you.
Logan Marshall Green, who's the Jai Courtney ripoff. You know?
Who is the Tom Hardy ripoff?
Tom Hardy ripoff. Yeah.
but much better than Jai Courtney.
Yeah.
He's excellent.
Yeah.
But I thought some of the supporting roles maybe could have been recast. But I really enjoyed it. I loved the storyline behind it. It was just super fun.
Yeah,
man.
I agree. I mean, especially the way he's moving after he's connected and everything like that. I thought that was real fun, and the action's real fun and everything. I didn't like the story too much though. Overall, like once he started, having to figure out what was going on and everything, I
Yeah, I
didn't
could
really
see
like that part of it. But I liked the action of it.
And everybody's talking about the people that seem to like The Predator, which I was not one of them, are talking about how they love that it's such a hardcore R-rated action movie.
Mhm.
It's like you need to see Upgrade
Yeah.
because that does it a lot better.
Mhm.
That does all that a lot better if that's what you want to see. But,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you guys see The Predator? I mean, that's kind of horror too, I guess.
I haven't. No, I expect that I'll probably like it though. I mean,
Really?
I hear nothing but bad things, and I don't hold the original Predator up on this fucking pedestal like everybody else does, like it's some miraculous cinematic achievement. Like, no, it's a dumb action movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Mm-hmm.
where they're fighting
Talk to
an
me,
alien
baby.
in the
Talk
woods.
to me.
It's a perfect example of how good a movie like that can be, I think.
Yeah. And so I've never had the grandest of expectation with this franchise, and I feel like the Predator will be fine.
I will say though, and they can confirm, I am the biggest Shane Black apologist you will ever meet, and I hated it. So, I mean, not that says anything, but I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
What's crazy is this movie is making the same money as Predators, like almost to the dollar.
They all make about the same, I think, after Predator.
Everyone
Yeah.
holds on to that hope. It could be so good. It could be so good. And it's like, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we talked about this last time you were in here because I think it came out just before. Was Dave Made a Maze?
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is another one that I really liked.
I'm a big fan. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan.
Huge fan of that. That one's just it's so fun.
Charming is the word I always come back to on that
Yeah.
one. I know that seems weird with a quote unquote horror movie, but I mean, I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah.
It's a movie coming out, not yet, but I know we only get on here once a year, so I gotta make it count. A movie called Pledge that's in the festival
talk
scene
at me,
right
I
baby.
now.
really want to see that.
what is it called?
It's called Pledge.
Pledge. Okay.
And it's,
Hyperlink.
Hyperlink.
no,
Okay.
when you click on
Pledge
it,
the hyperlink.
and then it goes to another thing.
Right. You just keep going.
Okay. All right.
no, it's just a stupid fraternity horror movie by the
Ooh,
guys
watch your mouth.
that did Uncaged. And Uncaged were the guys that reached out to us, and they were like, yeah, we were writing a comedy, we needed more money, like you were talking about, so we made a werewolf movie, and the werewolf movie fucking sucked.
Yeah.
So now they took all of that feedback from us, from other outlets, and they made a new movie, and it is ruthless, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, ruthless.
It's one of my favorite movies I've seen this year.
It's like
Hands
an
down.
hour and 15 minutes. You're in and you're out. I mean, it
And
is.
so,
It does.
Full spoiler alert, I was in a fraternity in college, and every time I watch a fraternity movie, I'm like, oh my God, you guys have no idea. Like, it's not even like remotely realistic. This one, I was like, yeah, that shit could actually exist, and then shit happens. And it's like,
wasn't
so good.
there actually a movie, like a slasher film that came out a couple months ago called The Pledge or something like that? Pledge Night? It had that guy from The Expendables in it.
Randy Couture?
Yeah.
That was The Row.
The Row. Okay.
Yeah,
I knew it was. I knew it was a sorority,
Yeah,
not a
yeah, yeah,
fraternity.
Not nearly as good
I did not see it.
by a long shot.
And then you have Sorority Row, which
Yeah.
came out a few years ago, or like, was it 2006? Sorority Row came out?
I don't know. It's
That was
it's
the
been a
remake.
minute.
That was
Yeah,
the remake.
yeah.
But so Pledge, huh?
Pledge, super good. Really
Yeah.
small
Is it
scale.
on Netflix or anything?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So it's going to come through a company called Boulder Light Entertainment, and most of their flicks typically end up on Netflix at some point.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think they've got Bad Match on there right now, which is pretty good too. It's like a tender thriller horror. But there's been a lot of those so far, like Tinder, like and Uber, like ride sharing horror movies. All that's kind of popular right now. But most of them are terrible. Bad Match is pretty good.
Pledge was definitely one I was going to throw at you, Chris, for a to watch if it was available. It's just not yet. So.
Yeah. A few that you mentioned to me to watch. One was Mandy, which I watched, and
I'm curious
I
about
am
this. This is
so
the only
curious what you
reason I
thought.
told you to watch it was because I'm curious.
Same here.
well, I when I was watching this, I thought it was a Nicholas Winding Refn movie. Like it has that kind of slow pace to it, and the colors of it and everything, and the movie will gouge your eyes out on cinematography.
Yes.
And
In
so,
a good way.
It's like he invented colors.
Don't know if it's a good way. What?
It's like he invented colors.
yeah.
Like there's like colors in that movie you've never seen. It's
Yeah.
the weirdest thing. It was the same way in his first movie, the Black Rainbow.
Beyond the Black
Yeah.
Rainbow. If
yeah.
you watch Beyond the Black Rainbow, which I think is on Shudder, it might not
It
be
used
anymore.
to be.
But if you watch that, you knew exactly what you were going to get with
Okay.
Mandy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's that movie was very strange. It's very straightforward when you come down to it as
Yeah.
well. Like it seems weird, and it's got a lot of weird scenes in it, but it's straightforward. It's a revenge movie.
Is it good?
I'm
The
debating
$1 million question right now.
on this. I don't think it is. I'm having a hard time. I like the imagery in it, even though like I said, some of the cinematography is going to gouge your eyes out because it's, and I may save this for a rant, but there's something that's happening in horror films and just films in general now that I'm getting real tired of, and this does one of them too. But I thought Nicolas Cage, this is like a perfect movie for him.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And
Cheddar Goblin.
yeah, Cheddar Goblin was funny. That was hilarious.
So you're landing right in there with the MH team for sure, because I feel like I feel like there are two hard camps. Those who love it and think it's one of the best things ever made. Those people who fucking hate it. And then me and Luke are kind of floating somewhere in the middle.
I'm 99% sure I did not like it.
that's so crazy though. Like, that's the movie.
I might watch it again.
I'm trying
at some
to figure
point, but-
out what would be so special about this movie, though, that someone would be like, "Yeah, it's the fucking best."
Yeah, I could get behind, Cage is crazy in it. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I could kind of get behind that, although I don't think that movie's fun.
And there's a
but-
chainsaw fight in it.
Yeah, there's a chainsaw fight,
yeah.
and there's a Cheddar Goblin.
Yeah, and the Cheddar Goblin. Yeah.
which has taken on the weirdest like memes and stuff
don't
I've ever seen him.
understand the
I don't
fascination.
know either.
Yeah.
He's there for like 30 seconds.
I kind of forgot he was even in it until I started seeing all that stuff. But I don't know. I didn't care for it.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, I'm in the middle on that movie. I
think it's technically masterful. Like I love everything that's going on there. I love all the. Like,
It's Suspiria with the
films-
Cheddar Goblin.
Oh, it's way better than Suspiria. But yeah, I never want to watch it again. Like ever. No, I mean that's the weird thing though, because I like you said, the story is pretty simple. There's nothing special there. Like if you're gonna enjoy this movie, you're gonna do it because of all the post production, basically, or like the lighting, the sound, the effects. Like that's the cool stuff about this movie. There's really nothing else to take home, but that stuff is so cool to me. I don't know. I was
Yeah,
into
it's
it.
almost like you're on a different planet in this movie.
Oh,
too.
I was when I watched it.
Yeah. So are you saying I should be doing drugs when I watch it?
It helps.
Okay.
Are you doing the pot while
Are
watching this movie?
you doing the pot?
All right. Well, my rental lasts for another 24 hours, so I guess.
There you go.
So, another one that you recommended or said to watch was called Ghost Stories.
Mm-hmm.
This is a British horror film, and I liked it. Okay. I don't know if I super liked it, but it has a fun ending to it and everything.
I love anthologies and I love British horror. And this felt, I don't know if you guys are really watch like Amicus and any of the old Hammer. I mean, I don't know.
I've seen some of the old Hammer stuff.
Yeah.
It's not my go-to.
But Amicus was the big, they did a lot of horror anthologies. Like they did the original Tales from the Crypt movie, Vault of Horror, Asylum, stuff like that. So I don't know. It really, it nailed a spot that I love.
It definitely does.
Sweet spot.
Definitely does perform an anthology all within an hour and a half of a movie and everything. It's a neat trick. I don't know. I feel like maybe possibly this would have been a better movie had it been one thing that he was that the story of the movie is that this guy who exposes psychic cheats is summoned by a guy who used to do the similar things in the 70s and used to debunk horror stories and like ghost stories and stuff. And he's like, I don't like that work that I did. And I've come up with 3 cases that disprove what I was trying to prove the whole time. And you see if you can go out there and prove that shit. And so, like, he goes and he interviews 3 people, and there's 3 different horror stories to it, which is a nice way of telling your story.
There's a lot of good people in it too.
Yeah.
Andy Nyman's the main guy. Martin Freeman's got a pretty big role in it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun.
The dude from the kid from
Into the fucking world.
Into the fucking world
Yeah.
is in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
good.
awesome.
But I liked it okay. Martin Freeman's so good, man. He makes everything.
Yeah.
He just elevates everything.
Yeah, like Black Panther even.
Yeah.
He's,
Yeah, he's definitely the best part of Black
You
Panther.
picked the
he's
one
not-
white guy. The one white guy.
no. I mean,
Racist.
No, yeah, I didn't say he was better. I
really
just
like
said
Martin
that he
Freeman.
was.
I remember when Martin Freeman was dying at the end of Black Panther.
I'm not having a good podcast.
You're having a great
I'm
podcast.
just gonna
you're
get,
doing good. You're doing the Lord's
like
work.
you're all of a sudden just not gonna hear me in this. I mean, like,
I'm the guy who can't think of any fucking movies. Speaking of which, that movie. No.
So did you guys all? I forget if you've seen it or not, Chris. But Baskin, you seen Baskin?
Yes. Is that what is it?
It's a Turkish
film.
police.
It's
Yeah.
the police precinct, and then they,
Yeah. So his new movie just came out called
God.
Housewife. So I watched that today as well. Weird, no surprise, of course, but weird movie, man.
Yeah.
Way more low key, a lot more of a crawly kind of pace. But when shit cracks off, it is. You know it's the guy that did Baskin.
I want that guy to get a Marvel movie. Like we talk about like all these people end up going to do like David Sandberg and all these people do a horror movie and then they go do like get some of these like get the guy who did Mandy, like get Cosmatos and get this guy that directed Baskin. I want to see them do like Plastic Man or something, something crazy.
Is Cosmatos, is he the son of George
Yes.
P. Cosmatos?
He's the son, or he's related.
Okay.
I believe he is the son, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't remember what movie he did, George P.
Tombstone.
Tombstone was one.
Well, he came in to do Tombstone, but Rambo is a big one of his, the second one. First Blood Part 2.
Yeah. I knew when I saw that name, it had to be somebody related to him or whatever. Okay, what else has come out that seems to have to hit?
What else we got, man? I went back and looked at so many.
Did you guys see the Lodgers?
I was not a fan of that at all.
You weren't a fan of
okay.
that? Yeah, I thought it was
I like
okay.
O'Malley too. So
Yeah, I was excited about it because of the director, but yeah, it didn't really fall for me.
Arizona
okay, yeah,
Okay.
I do have that
with
on my
Danny
my list.
McBride.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was because Green and McBride are writing the Halloween movie that's coming out
Yeah.
under their Rough House Pictures label with Blumhouse. So this is another Rough House picture. Kind of in that we were talking about before, not really a horror movie, but definitely like a horror performance from McBride. Yeah, it's good, man. It's about this guy that, bought a house when the real estate market kind of tanked, and he's pissed off at his realtor. And so he goes to go yell at his realtor and ends up killing him on accident. And then someone sees him. So then shit just kind of spirals out of control, man. He takes the person that saw him. He's just trying to be a good guy. He didn't mean to kill anybody, and doing his typical McBride thing all the while. It's good. And he actually, has a decent enough arc through the movie to where McBride gets kind of creepy, like in the last act or so.
Yeah,
It's definitely indie, but it's good.
The new Puppet Master movie's fucking wild.
Really?
You guys ever seen
That's
Puppet
what
Master?
I've heard.
I mean, I'm sure at some
like,
point.
Seriously?
part of the actual Puppet Master series, huh?
It's weird.
Yeah?
So it's actually written by Craig Zoller, who did Bone Tomahawk and Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So he wrote it. It's a,
Is Band even involved in
man,
it?
I think he's like an executive producer because he has to be kind of deal. But like, it's not part of that core franchise. But it's not exactly a reboot or like a remake or anything either. It just kind of stands on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a good movie, but goddamn, is it entertaining?
Yeah.
Really?
Which
Did you
is
like
kind
the
of
original Puppet Masters?
Yeah, I mean, I kind
Or
of felt
the
the same
first
way
one?
about them back then. You know, not good movies or anything. Nothing Full Moon ever did
yeah,
was
we
good.
were at the right age when those came out.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
But this is better than those. I would say.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
kind of like Troll 2 and Troll.
Yeah.
And I've heard
Yeah.
it's very offensive, and it's not even trying not to be. And
Yeah, I mean, you've got Nazi puppets.
Yeah.
So the movie is outwardly
Well, 'cause
racist, which is weird.
yeah, because it's
Yeah.
an interesting premise. I just haven't pulled the trigger on watching it, but they go to it's a convention, right? They go to like a convention to try to buy these dolls, and
It's like one of those little nerd conventions where everyone goes like just to show off their toys, and then like there'll be an auction there, and all of these toys are made by this crazy Nazi guy, you know, back in the day. So for this one night and one night only, they're all in the same place at the same time for this convention, and of course that's when they come alive and start wreaking havoc on the guests, who are all different ethnic classes.
Oh, my.
And the kills, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's out of this world. All practical, kind of shitty, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Interesting.
and it's
Well,
got a
look-
really cool cast too, right? It's
Yeah.
the guy from The State, or Thomas Lennon,
Oh, really?
and
Yeah.
Michael Pare and Barbara Crampton and
Sure.
Udo
I've
Kier. and,
gotten to the point I like practical and shitty better than I like
All day, every day.
than
Yeah.
I like any sort of effects driven thing. Like the First Purge, which is another one we haven't mentioned today, but the First Purge has kills in it that are just very effects driven. Like
Yeah.
like the blood splatter is all like, you know,
Yep.
it's a cascade of blood on every kill.
I
and-
just wrote a piece on the First Purge, and that was one of the big takeaways on it was, yeah, I mean, you're going to at least triple your budget on this thing.
Mhm.
Get some pipes, pump some blood out there, you know,
Yeah.
like have some mastery in your craft, you know, instead of, there's no excuse, no matter what. And there's no excuse in indie horror, let alone a Universal fucking movie to have
Yeah.
CGI blood. There's no excuse for that.
and
Yeah.
that movie was such a slog too. Like it I don't even know. Like it should have been entertaining, but it just because like I've been
It was-
okay with the other three films.
The
like,
way that
I've
I
been
kind of
perfectly
looked
fine
at
with
it,
them.
the way I summed it up was like the Purge used to like bring social issues and shit to light in like a cool way. Now it just feels like it's exploiting them.
yeah.
Just now or starting at election year?
So, I mean, it got kind of dicey in election year.
but those first three, what do you guys think of those first three? though?
I enjoyed them.
Like you're saying, there's some good stuff in there.
I think so.
Well,
Yeah.
the first one's basically just a home invasion film. I mean, it's on a
Well,
completely
like,
it's
yeah,
a different kind of film.
They come to the conclusions that it took 3 movies to come to the conclusion of in the first movie. Like all of that stuff is that the First Purge, like
Yeah.
the main guy who's in Insecure, if anybody knows what that show is, but Insecure, he's in that, but in that he's already at the point where like,
Yeah.
they're just killing we're killing the people of lower classes and everything.
Yeah.
He's already got to that point before the other purges have.
yeah,
There's
and
many more purges to come.
Yeah.
and also it kind of had that Star Wars prequels feel to it too, where everything looked nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess it would have. Well, no,
No.
everything was nicer. Yeah, should it be nicer in the future? But also, and this is, I guess, a semi spoiler, but towards the end, there's a bit of there's like this part where they're like celebrating, and I'm just like, this is a prequel, so like. I mean, it's like great they're celebrating, but we know like the majority of
Yeah.
these people are going to be dead over
Right.
the next like 8 or 9 years.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
cool
like
with that.
it's like a whole thing where it's like what do we do now? We fight.
Yeah,
there you go.
but
There
it's
you
like,
go.
but we
Then you
know
lose.
that you don't do well
Yeah,
with that
exactly.
fight.
Yeah.
So this is weird.
Yeah,
the fact that the drone, they had drones with machine guns attached, like all this
Yes.
tech that they didn't have in the later
Yeah,
movies.
yeah.
You know?
They're
Yeah,
like,
that
oh, we don't
makes
need that
sense.
shit anymore.
Well, yeah. That's the other thing. I thought this was going to really sort of explain, like we can sort of explain it ourselves, but I'd rather the movie sort of like spell it out a lot of times. But I thought it was going to explain how they sold this to America as a good thing.
Right.
And it never got to that point. Like, I understand that they wanted, like the main G-man that's in there wants all the kills. He wants more kills and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool and all. You want more kills, but then I didn't understand why they go in the apartments and just like methodically execute a whole bunch of people. And like, how is that? Like, if are you going to just pay off the cops or something to say that this didn't look like a military style execution?
And there's a murder. I won't give away who it is. There's a murder in that movie that is so offensive, and it comes out of nowhere, and it's just hard to watch. It's kind of similar to what people were griping about in Jurassic World, where they killed the assistant.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of something like that, where it didn't even make any sense why they killed the character. Like, they could have easily just shut them up a different way, but instead they just like brutally murder them.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, that's, even though I like horror movies, like, that was weird.
Yeah.
We watched one earlier this year called The Domestics, which is basically like, hey, I see what you're trying to do, Purge, with all these wacky costumes and wacky ideas, and let's just cut all the bullshit and let's just go to wacky gangs fighting each other. And I thought it was way more entertaining.
Yeah, instead of watching the first Purge, watch The Domestics. That's an excellent call out. That's the best Purge movie ever.
Right, the best Purge movie. That's not a Purge.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you guys liking the TV show?
I watched the first episode and I said I cannot do it again.
I made it through the
Yeah.
first 3, and I don't think I'm watching it again.
And that's so weird because I do believe that The Purge is something that's made for television.
It should be awesome at TV.
Yeah, I was really excited about it, actually, and it's just not interesting.
I think me and Jacob, like on episode 2 of our podcast, like
we did.
broke down like a very, very successful formula for The Purge on TV on like HBO or something.
Yeah.
Where it could be just
Where is
amazing.
it right now?
USA.
Oh, it's on USA.
And
yeah.
it looks like a USA production from like the
Yeah.
90s. If you remember
Blue,
those,
homie.
yeah, Pacific
And then,
Blue.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense because of the Universal tie and the Comcast tie into that. But still, if you're Universal Comcast, don't you say, yeah, let's not put this on USA?
And there's so many things you could do with it, like go to different countries and there's so many. And I can't take Elric Kane, who's a podcaster. He does the Shockwaves podcast, which is the Blumhouse podcast. He made kind of a joke, but this sounded awesome. Where they could make a movie, like they could combine Predator and The Purge, like so the Predators come down on Purge night.
I don't think I'm going to give that my money. I think I'm going to stay
I thought
home
that
for
sounded
one.
exciting as hell.
No, I mean, you can do about anything
that's
with The
what I'm
Purge.
saying.
Right.
You can
You
Imagine
can
this.
do it doesn't mean you should
The
do it.
I
Ninja
know.
Turtles come out.
Yeah,
on Purge.
exactly. Yes.
They've never got to kill anybody.
We're moving in the right direction. though.
Martin Freeman.
Yeah, Martin Freeman. Sure.
Has he not been in a Purge movie? What's going on here?
Yeah, Yeah, come on, get your shit together, Purge. There's by the way, there's a movie coming out December 7th. I don't know if they're calling it horror, but it sounds exactly like A Quiet Place. It's called The Silence.
Yes.
Yeah, we actually saw this.
You saw it?
It's called A Silent Area.
Yeah.
Silent Area.
We haven't actually seen it, but
Yeah, as we were walking out of watching a quiet place, because me and Jake Parker and Jacob, we all went together, and like we're just going through IMDb, just fucking around. We're at a film festival in a break of a film festival, and we see that movie, and the synopsis sounds just like it, and they've been in post production for years before they even knew A Quiet Place existed, and as soon as they found out, just fuck.
Well, it's like the people that made the last broadcast when Blair Witch got announced. I'm
Yeah,
sure they were just
yeah.
like, what? Or even like Stir of Echoes was another one that, Sixth Sense comes up 2 weeks before it.
Yeah. But it's funny because I was like, I was looking at the schedule and everything. I was like, what is this? The Silence. There's always a horror movie at the first week of December.
Oh, yeah. The Pyramid.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's going theatrical?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, they're saying it is
bold
now.
move.
That gets moved a lot, though, whatever that week is.
Yeah, but I think this is the only thing coming out.
No,
And it's
that's probably coming out
been like this for a while. Like, I don't know how long it goes back, but every first week of December. And I think it's because it's that post Thanksgiving, pre-Christmas,
No, you're right.
and people don't really want to come out with a movie then.
That like Exorcist movie with Harvey Dent from Dark Knight. Oh, I can't think of people's names.
Yeah,
Aaron
but,
Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart.
Incarnate, yeah.
Yeah.
That was another one that came out like first week of December.
But The Silence, the story of a family struggling to survive in a world terrorized by a deadly primeval species who have bred for decades in the pitch darkness of a vast underground cave system, hunting only with their acute hearing.
Oh my God.
As the family seeks refuge in a remote haven where they can wait out the invasion, they start to wonder what kind of world will remain when they're ready to emerge.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's like it comes at night
Sucks to be
combined
those guys.
with
Is
Quiet
Toby
Place.
Jones in this one? Because he likes to do that.
It'd be awesome if Toby Jones was in there.
And like, I feel bad because I feel like a lot of these guys are going to be like, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, they're ripping off A Quiet Place. They're trying to cash in. Like, movies take a long time to make, y'all.
Yeah.
Like,
man.
they had
This
no
happens
idea.
all the
A Quiet
time.
Place-
I mean, and not even just like when Dead Man Walking came out, there was that Sharon Stone movie.
Oh,
And
Last Dance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, they clearly weren't copying each other. It was
Yeah.
just two very similar
just the
stories. That
cultural
happens
zeitgeist
constantly. Yeah.
raises. Yeah.
Although I do believe this is a total aside from horror movies, but although we could say Truman Show's a horror movie.
Oh, Ed TV.
Yeah, Ed TV. I think in that instance, that was like a clear case of a script maybe going around Hollywood that somebody changed to make Ed TV later. Because so weird that Dennis Hopper was supposed to play the Ed Harris character, and then he shows up in Ed TV
You're probably
later.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's so weird. And it has to have been what happened on that. But anyway, anything else that came out this year?
Two call outs.
Okay. I got
last,
one.
Last for me. So I'm going to say Into the Dark, that Hulu show that I just talked about. Every month they're doing a new episode, a feature length episode to like 80, 90 minutes.
Yeah, I
or
didn't
so.
know it was going to be feature length. I
yeah.
saw that one drop. Is the one for October good then?
Yeah, so I just
Okay.
watched it last night. It's pretty good. It's called The Body or something like that. But it feels like tonally, even from the score and everything, at least this first episode feels like the Tales from the Crypt reboot that we've been wanting.
Oh, really?
For a while. It's got that same kind of like, it's fun, it's kind of campy, it's kind of dumb. No Crypt Keeper, figure or anything like that, but like just the spirit of it feels very similar. We've got the second episode already for November. We haven't watched it yet, but hopefully it stays as strong as the first one.
Yeah, I don't know if this is true of Netflix, but it seems like they have a lot of titles with dark in the title. One is just called Dark.
I love that show.
I love that show too. And I'm hoping, is the second season coming soon?
I hope so. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but we do this little series, like we haven't done it in a long
while,
time,
yeah.
called Fright Logic, where we break down any kind of thing like that could potentially break down. I've got over 20 plus hours of research done on that thing.
Oh, really?
So I'm ready to drop. I don't know how we're going to drop it. If we're going to do video format.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we'd do like a podcast format of it. I don't know.
If there are any video editors out there listening,
Right.
hit us up.
Because that's the problem, right?
It takes so much time,
It takes so much
man.
time. It takes so
Yeah.
much time to research.
Jonathan, did you see Dark?
I have not watched it yet.
But
it's
you've
high,
heard-
It's high, oh yeah, I've
Once
heard
we
about
go
it.
off
It's high
air,
on my list.
I'll drop at least a little tidbit on you.
Okay.
I can drop it on the air. It's not a spoiler.
Yeah, go for it.
Once you finish watching that series, make sure you can do this, go from the last episode immediately back into the first episode. That'll be my tidbit for
So
that.
you're saying
Okay.
watch episode 10 or whatever,
Yes.
then watch episode
So
1.
yeah, once you're finished, make
For
sure
I
that
thought-
you can go from 10 straight back into 1.
For a minute there, I thought you were, now that's cool.
Yes.
For a minute there, though, I thought you were saying watch episode 10,
first.
then watch 9.
I know,
then
backwards.
watch 10.
That's what I thought he was saying. Yeah.
Now I've thought about that maybe
Memento
that could
that
work
shit.
too.
It says Hail
but,
Satan.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys? I had a couple. Did you guys see Tragedy Girls?
Yes, Tragedy Girls, awesome.
I love that movie. That was very much like a Heathers for 2018. And Brie Hillenbrand, is that her name?
I don't know how she says it, but yes,
Something
that's
like the girl from
yes.
Deadpool. She is amazing in that movie. I mean, just amazing.
She's always pretty good in whatever she's in.
She is, but I never thought she had that much in her, man. She is just unreal in that movie. High recommend. Unsane, the Steven Soderbergh film.
Yeah, I wasn't high on that
Yeah,
one.
that was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
that was
think I
the
like that more than most.
cell phone movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I watched it the first time. I thought it was fine, and then I actually watched it again, and I liked it more. So that one's kind of grown on me quite a bit.
Yeah, I watched that like randomly one night, just like, all right, I'm gonna okay, Soderbergh.
Yeah.
I liked it okay. Claire Foy is basically the reason to watch that. She's just really good in it and everything. By the way, Brianna Hildebrand.
Thank you. Sorry.
You're trying to think.
Look at there. You're stepping your game up. You're back at it. You're back. You're back.
And one totally stupid and silly one I enjoyed that I know everybody else is gonna be like, you're a dumbass, but Truth or Dare.
Oh, come on.
man.
Really? Boo.
So
All
you-
right.
so you like this?
I'm
him
not
out.
saying it was good,
Yeah.
but I had a perfectly fine time watching it. Like I'll probably never watch it again.
Because you didn't get robbed
But as far,
during it?
what
could go wrong?
I had movies.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as like just a goofy like teen horror flick, it was fine.
It's a remake of the Madonna movie.
It
right?
is a remake of the Madonna.
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
God.
But no,
It's not a high recommend.
I will watch Truth or Dare at some point because I
Yes.
do like watching those stupid ass.
I know,
movies.
I do that. I can't explain it.
So I want to go to.
I watched
back
one
to-
recently. It's
Oh,
going to
go
be
ahead.
in my rant. No, go ahead.
Oh,
Go.
you're going to be your rant. No, we can't do it. We're just shut in. I want to go back to the Netflix and the Dark thing because I actually do have one that puts them together. And
okay.
that's Hold the Dark, the new Songye.
I have not watched
Oh.
that yet. Is it good?
I like it. I don't
Okay.
think everyone will like it because it doesn't really give you the answers you may be seeking, which intrigues me.
And speaking of Martin Freeman, have you seen Cargo?
Yes.
That was a pretty fun.
For a
Yeah.
zombie film, not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I'm not a big zombie. I'm like you guys with the zombie
Yeah.
films.
Netflix be giving us some good shit, or at least we think, because that Apostle is coming out in the next week or two?
Yeah, that looks amazing.
It does
With
look
Wayne
amazing,
Stevens?
but it's just the way the Netflix movies have been recently. I'm just like, is it going to be good?
Are you kidding me?
I mean,
that
it
trailer looks fucking crazy.
It does. I'm not. It's just I don't know. The Netflix thing is
What's
kind
it
of
called?
giving me a bad thing.
Apostle.
It's Gareth Evans. The
Oh, yeah?
Raid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We didn't.
Oh,
Jeremy,
this is about the cult, right?
Jeremy
Yeah,
was-
like the religious dudes
was
are
Jeremy
going to the
talking
cult.
about this?
Yeah, we had both seen the trailer, and Jeremy was saying that it fucked him up. Just the trailer
Right,
fucked him up.
because it starts
Premiered
one way
at
and then it goes
Fantastic Fest.
somewhere else, and you're like, "Oh, I wasn't ready for it to go there."
Yeah.
yeah, it premiered at Fantastic Fest, and people came away from that. I mean, Halloween was there too. Like everything was there, and everyone was like, "The Apostle is the movie to watch."
Wow.
But I agree with you. Netflix shit is like Netflix originals are typically awful. Like Cloverfield was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's been several that struck out, but I don't expect The Apostle to be.
I
one.
hope it does. I mean, it does look excellent, and I like Evans. So
I just
I'm
can't
curious.
imagine that Cloverfield paradox being in theaters because that's what was supposed to
Yeah.
happen.
Yes,
And
That would've
it-
bombed,
It
man.
makes
And I
me
coulda-
wonder
and I
what they
could
would have
be-
done.
I could be wrong, but I swear to God, Overlord was supposed to be a Cloverfield movie at one point. Do you guys have any?
No.
It was right.
So I heard that from like a really, really strong source, like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And then it wasn't until after the paradox, drama that they're like, oh yeah, this isn't a Cloverfield
and I mean,
movie.
I guess they still could sneak something in there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
funny
You know?
because we mentioned it in
Yeah,
the fall
you did.
preview, and like we got a comment from somebody later that said, "Oh yeah, that's going to be the new Cloverfield
Yeah.
or whatever." And I was like, "Oh okay, I didn't know," but apparently not.
No, I mean, everyone wrote stories about it being because like everyone kind of heard from the same person. I guess that person was full of shit, I guess. But
Yeah.
but yeah, like everyone
I
wrote stories
swear-
on it.
Yeah, I swear.
No,
yeah,
I guarantee
swear
you.
That's
I
what it
guarantee
was.
you exactly how you laid it out there is what happened. Was
Yeah.
that it was going to be a Cloverfield connection.
Yeah.
And then Cloverfield Paradox came out, and they said, "Ooh,
Was Cloverfield Paradox any worse than like Life? That was a big wide release.
About the same.
Yeah, they're about the same. In
I
fact,
know.
they're almost the same movie.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know that I.
But Life didn't do anything.
Well,
either.
and then Life, there were all those rumors that it was supposed to be a Venom prequel.
Oh shit!
I don't know
knew
if that was how true that was, but there
At
were
least
a
it's got a
ton
better
of
cast,
rumors.
though.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Last one I'll drop out there as await further instructions. It just came out, kind of like early Carpenter-esque thing, sort of
Okay.
vibes.
All right.
It's
Say no more.
UK horror movie. Lots of like racial tension stuff happening in this one too. It's a Thanksgiving meal. Like his girlfriend is like Indian. I guess that's not cool with his parents. His dad's just a workaholic dick. They say they're gonna bounce. Fuck Thanksgiving. We're gonna leave. They're like, nah, just stay till the morning. Head out. So they wake up at the ass crack of dawn. Him and his girl go to leave, and there's like this black wall like at the door, and then all of the windows also have black walls over them. And then they go in the living room, and everyone kind of wakes up, and the TV just has a message on it that says "Await further instructions." And then the movie kind of goes from there.
I think I've heard something about this movie. It
That
sounds
interests me.
really familiar.
It's small scale, but it's kind of like we were talking about before. Like I'll take practical over like CGI.
Yeah.
Like a lot of practical effects driven stuff in here.
Just
yeah.
that setup.
So did you
I'm on board with it.
Did
know?
you like The Void?
I
I
did.
know that was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
but
I did, but it wasn't a great movie. The effects were badass.
Yeah, they
but
were. I mean,
the,
it was-
the movie was kind of a letdown for me.
I agree.
The IMDb says that it's Christmas Day. Actually, that's await further
So
instructions,
it
not
is
Thanksgiving.
Why the fuck are there?
Slender Man. Slender Man.
I wasn't going there to disprove you.
And
I
Neil,
was just
Neil Marshall directed Away Further
Neil Martin.
Instructions.
Yeah,
I'm
No.
a Jehovah's Witness, bro. I don't
Apparently-
celebrate this shit.
apparently a guy
Like,
named-
for all I know, it's the same thing.
yeah. Apparently, a guy named Johnny Kevorkian. That's a good horror director name.
Yeah, there you
Show
go.
is.
Yeah, but what's weird is I thought I had heard it was Thanksgiving too, so I'm confused
Yeah,
now
they-
because you were not the
Uh-oh.
first
It's
person I've
all
heard
about
say that.
dinner.
IMDb is fucking you over.
It's all about dinner.
Is Christmas dinner a thing? Did you guys ever have Christmas dinner? Like, my family sucks.
I mean, we eat. I mean, we do eat something on Christmas. I guess you could call it dinner. I don't know.
Either way, it's holiday horror.
There you go.
Motherfuckers.
Holiday horror.
There you go.
The Milgram family, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You think they might have something? Yeah, maybe.
What
In the Milgram experiment?
is this a movie?
Yeah, this is await further instructions. There's the family name is
Oh,
Milgram.
really? Interesting.
It's got the old guy from The Strain. I don't know if you guys watched that.
Yeah.
It was David Bradley from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah.
same dude? I don't think I ever saw. I saw the first episode of The Strain.
Yeah, me too.
I hate
And-
zombies, and I love that show. It was
Oh,
good.
yeah?
Yeah.
Well, it's more like vampires.
I was surprised.
Yeah,
I was surprised
zombies.
it had 5 seasons or something.
A lot.
Well, and
Woo.
Del Toro. Have you read the books? Because
Nah,
your
I started reading it.
your boyfriend wrote them. So.
Whoa, easy.
I didn't write shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know. You didn't know
I
about
like what you did there.
You didn't know about Guillermo? That's on. It's his piece on the side.
Look, now Luke's all mad at me. Way to go. I hope you're really
Cross
happy
my
with
arms.
yourself. Yeah, look at him.
Just curious. Did you guys see Victor Crowley?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Oh, man, I did not like that movie.
I mean, it
so
is what it
confused.
is. You got to live with it.
I just don't think I like.
Adam Green.
Yeah, I just don't think
Okay.
I'm an Adam Green fan. Frozen's okay. I can
I like
live.
Frozen.
Digging Up Tomorrow was okay.
That's fine.
Are you talking about Frozen, the one where they go up in the ski lift?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
The one with all the songs and
Not the
stuff.
one-
That would be
That one's fucking
amazing if
dope.
Adam Green directed.
That
the
was
Disney
okay.
film. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is that came out before the cartoon came out.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
like 2 years, I think.
Yeah,
a year or
and
two.
so Frozen. It was a fairly big release, and then Disney comes out with
Well,
their big Frozen movie,
And
I'm
you know,
like,
somebody's flipping around on Stars and just they're sitting there with their kids and they see,
Oh,
Frozen's
yeah,
on. Because
for
people
sure.
don't read that description. Turn around there, like somebody's getting their hand eaten off by a wolf.
yeah,
Like, oh, I didn't remember that.
yeah. So in the past year or so, you guys have been producing shorts and stuff like that. Horror
Yeah.
short. One of them, Barrett clued me in.
Yeah,
to,
Bedtime.
was that one,
Much appreciated, Barrett.
which
Oh, man.
I watched.
That's great.
I watched in a little virtual reality setting.
Oh,
shit.
I bet that was amazing. Now this actually has a lot to do, and obviously has nothing to do, but uses similar types of manipulation as A Quiet Place.
Oh,
it
sound-wise.
depends on sound.
Yeah.
And you
mean,
definitely
I'm sorry,
want to be.
I'm sorry, the silent area? So
Yes, the silent area.
Yes.
It's a very immersive experience. So I guess if you can watch it in VR, man, that'll blow your mind.
Yeah, it was fun watching it that way because the sound is the best part. Of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I have an irrational fear of VR, which is weird because I've never tried it, but I have a lot of irrational fears.
Yeah.
Last time I used VR, I punched through a glass.
Oh, really?
Did you really?
Literally.
Yeah.
God.
There are moments speaking of horror, the one of the first things that I did was I got into some sort of horror not interactive, but it was a horror movie that you're inside of essentially. And it starts off like The Ring, demon chick comes through the TV. And,
Sure.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I know, it sucks. But it's set up in such a way that you're like, oh shit, she disappeared. Where could she be? And so you're like
Always
looking
behind
around.
you.
looking
Always
around,
behind you.
yeah, and everything, and of course, it's like they're right there on the side at first, and then they're like, somewhere else, like it's that, and you keep doing this turning around shit and everything. Yeah, you can run into stuff in your house and everything. But you produce Bedtime. What else have you guys been doing?
So we haven't really made it. I guess this is probably the best place to talk
That's
about
what I
than
told
anything,
Chris. I was
right?
like, if we're gonna drop some tidbits, this is the place
You're
to
doing,
drop
a,
tidbits.
you're doing a
Bring it.
Slender Man movie, right?
This is,
Yeah.
the
With Neil
exclusive.
Marshall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so we started. So our Patreon supporters have already seen our teaser trailer and stuff, but we've been working on a feature for roughly 6 months or so now.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Got a teaser shot for it, got the script written already, and we're gonna be hitting crowdfunding with it. It's called God Country, and I don't think we've said that in public anywhere yet.
Ah.
But yeah, the movie's called God Country, and it's about a lot of things, but mostly like growing up in the South, different. Because we grew up in the South and we were a little bit different. Our story happens to follow two men in a relationship that have to go back to like the Bible Belt for unforeseen circumstances. And his family doesn't quite approve of that relationship, nor does the rest of the town. So things kind of get really, really out of hand from there.
Yeah, I've seen this teaser trailer,
Yeah.
and it's fucking great, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
It's
you.
really good.
Yeah, we shot that like in a day. We had a really, really great like production assistant find an awesome set for us, or a really nice house, and yeah, we had to go through all the signing NDAs and getting, licenses knocked out. We've learned a lot in the last 6 months.
Very, very
I imagine
cool.
so.
Turns out making a movie is difficult.
It's really hard.
Well,
They fucking knew.
and I think I got this from your Patreon, give us money video.
Yeah.
That video, that it's not really like criticizing religion. It has some of that maybe.
I mean, that's
in it.
the hope, right?
Yeah, exactly. But
People are offensive
it's not going overboard.
We're
with-
trying not to go overboard, but definitely people who use it as a hammer, if you will.
Yeah.
It's not an attack on religion. It's an attack on fanaticism.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was getting at. Like, it's not like, well, everybody who worships God, they're
Right.
They're a bunch of dicks and secretly evil.
Yeah.
It's
It's not that, and I hope that by the time, because we're gonna hit crowdfunding. Probably gonna hit Indiegogo in the relatively near future, maybe by the end of the year, to try to round up the funds that we need. We're gonna shoot it cheap, and we're gonna shoot it practical, and it's gonna be dirty. It's gonna be really
That's
really great.
exactly the way
Excellent.
I like my horror.
You know
Yeah.
what? That's putting your money where your mouth is. No, seriously, or you're putting somebody's money where your mouth is. Like,
Definitely.
It's saying like, you know what? Yes, we've immersed ourselves in this world for so many years and everything. We want to jump in there and do it because we think we know how to do it right. And I bet you guys will knock it out of the park.
That's really the thing. Like we love this genre so much. We've been talking about other people's movies for so long, and if nothing else, give a chance to have people shit on our movie for a chance.
That's the double edge of that sword, right? Is
Yeah.
because we've
You can
spent-
count on it, sir.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
there for you.
We've spent so many years talking about other people's movies. Now it's the put up or shut up, and if it falls just a little flat, oh boy, the retribution.
I kind of lean. I'm going more. I mean, I guess I've always thought this, but Chris talks about this a lot. Like he doesn't like his horror movies too shiny, and I'm like that too. Like I guess it dropped today, so it's okay to say we did Scream 3 for Cinemasins, and me and you wrote the script, and that was the thing about that movie. I'm like, man, this movie is pretty.
Yeah.
It's a very pretty movie.
Right, well, all the Screams-
there's nothing, but there's just nothing there. And I think that's part of the problem is that it's almost too pretty. It's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, all the Screams are well shot and beautiful and everything like that.
that one,
but-
I mean, maybe just because that one wasn't good, it
it's-
stood out.
I think that's what it is. I think it's just that it was so bad. But most of the time, like, I don't know why I always think of this, but the movie Hannibal Rising that came out,
What a
that
beautiful movie, man.
beautifully
Jesus.
shot, and it's just it just doesn't work for me.
Is that in like France or Italy or
yeah,
something?
or something
I feel
like
yeah.
that. It's and I can't remember who was the guy who played Hannibal Lecter in that. It was
The young guy. I can't remember,
maybe it's
yeah.
nobody, but I thought it was like somebody who like a Mads Mikkelsen type of
Yeah.
guy or whatever. But
And you can do big budget horror well. I mean, The Exorcist is a great example.
Well-
That doesn't look like it cost as much money as it did when it came out.
right,
I don't know where that money went.
it went all to that opening sequence where they're in.
all right, Annabelle fans, just calm down.
It's like we all went to that opening sequence where they're doing that Indiana Jones big opening.
You're not lying, bro. You're not lying.
Well, yeah. So anything else besides the podcast or anything like, over the last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's really depressing when you put it like that.
Right.
Like, have you done anything else in the last year than that one thing that you guys always
well,
And
say?
the
also,
other
though,
things that you've been talking
You
about.
guys should. I don't know if you guys like to pimp your other podcasts, but you guys have a
yeah.
really great network right now.
Yeah.
You got the Final Girls, and
We've got the Final Girls. We've got the Horror Virgin, which has got a really fun twist based on I don't think anybody else is really doing anything like this in the horror space, where they've got two other like hardcore horror movie lovers, and they've got one guy who literally hates horror.
Todd
And-
Awesome.
Yeah, and he's never seen anything. And so they force him to watch these movies, and then they go talk about it on a podcast.
that's
I'm gonna actually get to watch a movie with this guy.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about
He's
it.
a hot mess. We've got Death, Dying, and Other Things, and that's a story-driven podcast. I really dig that one. It's like 30
That's my
minutes.
That's very cool.
That's
That
my
is
favorite
very,
podcast,
very cool.
I think.
And
Oh,
that
yeah?
is usually
Yeah.
not my kind of podcast, but that is a very cool one. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I was so excited whenever Justin brought that one onto the network, and we're trying to at least get some kind of pilot shot for a Death, Dying, and Other Things. Maybe web series, maybe big
shit,
series.
I mean,
I don't know, but it's
Borg-
already written.
Yeah.
Or
Wow,
got put
it's
on
there.
Amazon, so I don't know why you guys couldn't do that.
This will be way better than that.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. 'Cause that
Shots fired.
That is shite.
Yeah, it's not good.
So yeah, recommends and warns.
Yeah, you guys want to recommend some things?
Totes Amazeballs.
It won the Academy Award
Oh, for what?
for Best Movie Ever Made.
Why don't we start with our guests? Jacob, you want to go first?
Yeah, because I bet Luke's not ready, right?
I feel like that's what we did for the last hour and a half.
So that's why I was trying to
Anything
save some of
outside of
these.
that.
I was
Yeah,
trying
there you
to
go.
save some of these for this exact moment. I'm going to stick very genre-esque because that's why I'm here.
Yep.
Satan's Slaves.
Okay.
This one's, what is it, Indonesia? Am I right on this one? Yeah,
Indonesia.
Indonesia's been throwing out some really cool shit as of late. This is another really cool one. Has one of the most creative scares, I think, that I've seen in a long time, if not ever. Might actually win our scare of the year, perhaps.
It might. It just hit Shudder. And for me, I mean, I'm gonna be kind of a dick, I guess, and say my recommendation is to get Shudder. Like, especially in
if you don't
especially
have
in
it, what are you
October,
doing?
it's $5 a
Yeah.
month. They are taking the very best things, usually the very best things that are like in the festival.
Not always.
Yeah, not always. But typically picking up the great festival standouts, TV series from maybe foreign places that we don't get to
Really
see
cool
here.
TV series that you never see if you didn't have this.
Yeah, so $5 a month. It's powered by AMC. They have apps on everything: Apple TV, PlayStation, iPhone, Android, whatever. Like you can watch it in great quality.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see this scare. Like, when you see it, you're going to be like, why has no one ever done this one? It just makes a lot of sense.
Satan's Slaves?
Satan's Slaves.
It's
I
not
bet that's-
Santa's sleigh.
Nope. But that's a fucking badass one, too. I keep trying to get him to watch it.
That's an actual movie?
That's
Stan?
like- yeah,
Bill Goldberg,
yeah,
baby.
Bill Goldberg. I remember
Goldberg.
some-
Everyone go watch
And isn't there
Santa's
like
Sleigh.
there's an opening scene in that with a ton of people, right?
It's Bill Goldberg.
Do a double bill of Santa's sleigh and Satan's
Satan's
sleigh.
Slaves. Yes.
Yeah, you'll be calling it Satan's Slay and Santa's Slaves by
I
the time it's
co-signed
over.
that so hard.
Yeah, exactly.
I got two more recommends for you. Incident in a Ghostland. It's from the dude who did Martyrs, the original Martyrs.
Yeah, yeah.
That is a staple darling of the horror genre world. It's rough, so go in just kind of knowing. It's an interesting story.
It is definitely rough.
And we've already covered my last one, which was Arizona. So with
okay.
McBride.
All
so.
right.
Luke
Yeah.
is such a dick taking your
He
recommendation.
did. He took
I
my
know,
fire, man.
I don't read things. I didn't know we were doing this. I don't know.
You can recommend Annabelle again if you want.
Damn.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to recommend something else that everyone else hates.
Okay.
Slice.
Ah,
I have not seen this. I want to.
Slice.
So this is another movie coming out from A24, but instead of being like moody ghost shit with no color palette, like it is. Damn. Like, well, and I love A24 and I love moody ghost shit with no 8 color palettes, but this is a guy named Austin Vesley. He's a Chicago filmmaker. He came up doing like documentaries and music videos for folks like Chance the Rapper and like, little, small, big stuff, basically. He makes this movie called Slice, starring Chance the Rapper. So that's how they get their hook into theaters and all that stuff. And it is one of the stupidest, most ridiculous movies I've ever seen. I mean, it feels like if Trauma made like, this is elevated Trauma, basically.
I'm down.
Like
I'm down.
it
I'm
is
down for elevated
Ooh,
trauma.
Zazie
starting a new
Beetz.
subgenre.
Zazie
Beetz is in it.
Zazie Beetz is in it. Hannibal Buress from
Yeah, Hannibal
Really?
Buress.
I know that one.
wow.
Chris Parnell
Yeah, Chris Parnell.
and Elon Knoll, who was in First Purge.
There it is.
Is in that.
There it is.
Paul Scheer.
So
the hell?
it's really dumb. It is really, really dumb, but it's a lot of fun.
It actually
is it like a comedic horror film?
Oh yeah, for sure.
They released it for like one night. It was actually on at theaters here or whatever that.
Yeah,
it was like
I
a
went-
Monday
I
night.
went to
yeah,
Opry
I
to
remember
watch it.
you
Yeah, yeah.
tweeted about it.
Yeah.
Slice. All right.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Jonathan, what do you got?
My recommend is actually going to be a podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Modern Horrors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Back in the
No,
good graces.
definitely listen to Modern Horrors. They're finally back, and I've enjoyed that. But
Shots fired.
that was not shots fired.
No, it's fine.
I'm
it's
glad
fine.
you're
Yeah,
back.
no, it's
Wait a
been
minute.
bad.
Wait a minute. You were gone?
I missed
We
you.
took a little hiatus.
I moved to
and
Nashville.
you got a
There you
lot
go.
of shit for that, which was insane.
I mean, that's the kind of shit though I'll take
Yeah,
because
for
it's
sure.
coming from a place of love.
Yes, it's
so
like-
I'll take
No,
that all
it's
day.
like
there
get
was
back
a-
on the air, motherfuckers.
There was a
Yes.
point where I usually listen to podcasts when I go and work out and stuff like that, and there was like this period of time where we're going to New York and we're doing all this other stuff. I didn't get any podcasts in, and then finally I got back to it, and I was like, okay, let's see what the gang at Modern Horrors is up to. And I was sitting there going,
Nothing.
the actual podcast I'm recommending, The Ringer, which is Bill Simmons
Mhm.
once he left Grantland and ESPN and all that stuff. They've got a bunch of sports podcasts, but they also have a lot of movie podcasts. And they just started a series. It's 3 episodes in. It's called Halloween Unmasked. SinCast. Have you been listening to this by any chance?
Someone DM'd one of our listeners sent it to me. I haven't seen it.
Okay, I mean, my Twitter handle is SamLoomis13 for fuck's sake. I like Halloween. I like the Halloween. I enjoyed the Halloween movie.
Why? What's the connection?
I don't know. No connection. It's actually a Psycho reference. And I am learning so much about this movie that I had no idea about, which is crazy because I thought I knew everything.
Is it told in the same way as like those Inside Jaws?
No, well, so it's Amy Nicholson, who's a film critic for I think MTV maybe now, and she does that podcast with Paul Scheer actually. I think it's called Unspooled. Which is also a good podcast. They're going through the AFI's best of 100 list and watching all the movies and reviewing them. But anyways, so she's hosting it. She does interviews. She like interviews Carpenter and she interviews Irwin and everybody, Jamie Lee and everybody
solid
involved.
Access to
but some of it is her talking just to you, telling you like this was the night where blah But it's only like they're 30-40 minutes each. They're not that long, so it's like perfect for a drive.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting in-depth study of a movie. And I think even if you're not a huge fan of that movie, I think just if you're a fan of movies, I think it's a really interesting podcast. Because I always find talks, even movies I don't like. In fact, sometimes movies I don't like, I enjoy more hearing about how they were made and like who the fuck, greenlit this and like why. So, but I don't know. It's just really fascinating. And if you like that, I don't know the podcast network that does them, but they've been doing a series of these where they did Inside Psycho, they did Inside The Exorcist, and I think they just did Inside Jaws over the summer.
Yes, Wondery.
Thank you, Wonder. And I highly recommend those as well.
By the way, just as an aside, Amy Nicholson is the host of Earwolf podcast, The Canon, and critic of KPCC's Film Week.
Oh, okay.
She formerly was MTV.
Thank you.
Ah.
They move around so much now.
They
It's
do.
hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Are we excited for the new Halloween?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for the new Halloween.
My problem though is like I'm not a huge fan of the sequels. Like I don't know that there's a sequel that I could genuinely say I like. I've watched them many times.
Yeah,
because I'm an idiot and I just like Michael Myers.
Do you guys like any of them?
I like 2. I watch 2 pretty often.
2 would be
1 and 2.
2 would be the obviously the next one.
You guys just don't know the genius of Part 3, Season of the Witch. Watch it 17 times like I have.
Yeah, that is not the worst one.
I can get down with that. Of course, it's just
not even
I
close.
think Curse of Michael Myers.
Curse of Michael Myers is really bad. I personally don't like the Rob Zombie films, but I know there's a lot. You don't either, but there are a lot of fans out there, and they kind of like start attacking you if you.
They're wrong.
Well,
if you ever say
it's another one of those.
They're just not for me.
Rob Zombie's another one of those guys who makes movies that like people just get this emotional attachment to. Yeah. And so like that's why people like The Devil's Rejects and like I know that there's some people in here that like Devil's Rejects probably. But Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. I think House of a Thousand Corpses is a fucking garbage movie.
It's not good.
It's not good. None of them are good.
But people love them.
It's got Dwight.
Yeah, and there's something about it.
Bitch boy.
Yeah, something about Rob Zombie of all people that people get an emotional attachment to.
Hey man, Dragula was an awesome song.
Dragula,
no, we're not talking about music.
That's why they have an emotional connection. They are an Astro freak.
I don't know. Do you think that all of his film fans are also fans of his music?
So
I don't know that they are.
We went to an early screening of 31.
I remember this podcast. I remember you guys talking about this.
And I'll be goddamn. Like, if that screening is any indication of what his larger fan base is,
it's gotta be.
The answer is yes.
I would like the only 2 not wearing a White Zombie t-shirt.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Because that was kind of their aesthetic, right? Even in White Zombie was that kind of ghoulish type of, presentation and things like that.
Those Dragulas.
Just dirty, grungy, ghouly kind of shit.
Look, I liked White Zombie and everything, but fucking A.
I know you didn't just say it. It sounded like you said Dwight at first, and I was like, here.
I kind of did.
That's what I thought too. I was like, he fucking with me right now?
Dwight Zombie.
Dwight Zombie's his cousin.
We were watching The Office a second ago.
The cover band.
Bluegrass covers of Rob Zombie.
It's like
yes.
It's like Christ.
But no, I liked White Zombie pretty well. I can't say it. I can't say anything. I didn't like him at all. No.
What's his best movie? Lords of Salem?
Oh my fucking God.
I don't know. What is?
It's got to be Rejects.
I guess.
Probably.
It's big. It's crimey. It's
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair, but it's still not very good.
No, I like the band. I just didn't.
Yeah.
haven't liked any of the movies.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm hopeful that I want the new Halloween to be good, and I like David Gordon Green for the most part. I like Jamie Lee.
I mean, to me, it just seems like, first off, I'm really, really excited about it, but it kind of just seems like a remake of H2O. Like, instead of H2O, it's like H4O. Like, it's kind of the same shit.
It kind of has that same like plot, like, because even in H2O, she's talking about like
she gets the axe and she goes back to the college to hunt him down.
They're
like,
leading with that, it seems like, at least in the marketing, where they're like, I'm going to kill this motherfucker right now. Instead of in H2O, it was more like, I'm going to defend myself and kill this guy.
And
right?
I hope we get I hope maybe we get a Carpenter movie out of this somehow. Like, maybe he goes and does, not Halloween, but
sure, he said he's open to making an original horror movie.
But he also said, but only if he could like go to Italy or something. Like, it was very specific.
Tickets aren't that much, bro.
I
can get you to Italy.
I have a feeling Jason Blum will send him over there for to film a movie.
Well, you want to go to Italy? I can get you to Italy. My Uncle Luca. It's fine.
Luca Rodriguez.
Yeah, his brother Dwight. I'm going to take a hard right turn.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't have any horror movies to recommend.
Our recommendations are going to be a little bit different. Have you seen The Good Place at all?
I've seen a few episodes, and in fact, I think I mentioned Good Place in a podcast maybe a few months ago, and I had started watching it, but I haven't been able to get all the way through not because I didn't like it. It's just that there were a million other things.
Yeah. No, I mean, I dove right in. Have you seen this?
I haven't.
And
I want to. I mean,
I've seen the first couple of episodes, and I really, really liked it.
Yeah, I dove into the first season. I've just started the second season, and it's taken me a little bit to get into it. Understand that the second season is pretty good, and it just started the third season. You've seen the first season?
I've seen the first episode.
Okay. The first season is like a perfectly encapsulated season of television, and I wish they had stopped there. It ends brilliantly. It ends beautifully. It's got great performances. It's got a great storyline. Yes, I see where they can go from this, and yes, it's so good that you want to keep mining materials out of it. It is a network show, which is crazy that I like it so much. There's this weird, what do they call it? Nice core? Is that the thing? Where like nice TV, like The Good Place and things, because everything's such a shit show now. That we're turning to stuff like The Good Place, and it's like, oh, that's funny, even though it's wholesome, even though it's not really wholesome. But yeah, it's really great. Kristen Bell, you know, I liked Veronica Mars, but I was never like, you know, huge fan like dove in.
They're rebooting that too, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's going to be on. Well, it's going to be like a fourth season. It's going to be on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Hulu. I mean, everybody's back, and
I like.
I'm
the series.
a bit of a Mars fan.
I even like the movie, kind of.
Yeah, I like the
movie. Movie's not great.
No, but it does its thing. It's
anyway.
good.
And of course, she's great in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but this is the best I've ever seen her. Yet. Like you can actually see her. First of all, she's playing kind of like a rougher version of her persona. Ted Danson, man.
Yeah.
That guy, how many iconic TV roles has he had at this point? Because you got Sam in Cheers.
Yeah.
Becker.
You got Becker.
CSI.
You got CSI, and then you've got that weed show on HBO with Zach Galifianakis that it was and Jason Schwartzman.
I know what you're talking about.
The private
Bored to Death.
Yes,
Bored to Death.
Yeah.
Where that was apparently really good too.
Yeah.
And now he's killing it in this.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of amazing. I was thinking about that the other day, like how many times he's been in a series and he's had this like great run as that character or whatever. I don't know how Becker got that far, but it's still on his resume.
I never watched it, but it was on forever. People just like him. Yeah. And I think he's just one of those people, he owns television.
He's a great actor, and if you watch all the way to the end of at least season 1, and it's on Netflix, which is the only reason I would watch a network show in the first place. I'm not going to sit through fucking commercials to watch this.
Yeah.
But if you get through it, there's a part at the very last episode of the first season where he does this thing, and it is just like a feat. You're seeing an actual transformation of a character, and it's done on a dime, and it's gorgeous.
I have a
and
question.
It's worth that alone.
Somebody ruined the first season finale for me.
Oh yeah,
so that's why I've never watched it. Do you think
it's still worth watching?
It's still worth watching.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody ruined the twist.
That was like actually a highlight of the Critics' Choice Awards when it went out with Aaron Dicer and everything. he won the award for A Good Place.
Oh, yeah.
And he came up there and he's like, all through these years I've really hated these award shows, but this really turned out well for me.
That's awesome. He is actually a really good actor though, and he's even done some movies. I mean, 3 Men and a Baby is probably the one he's most known for, but I think it's Body Heat that he has like a small role
he does
in,
have a small role in that.
He's so good in that,
Yeah.
and he's kind of sleazy and like he's really good in it though. Like he would have been a great like film noir guy like back in the 50s.
Yeah.
If that's
well, then if Sam Alone hadn't happened and all that, then he might have had a different trajectory.
But it's worth checking out.
Or
for
if
sure.
Made in America hadn't happened,
Yeah,
he might have
Made in
more
America.
There you go.
Yeah, he got to meet his wife on that, I think.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm continuing the hard right turn here. And really the only new movie that I've seen that I could recommend is A Star Is Born.
Yeah, what do we think?
I really liked it. I think ultimately it's more of a performance movie than it is a great movie. But Bradley Cooper is great in it. Lady Gaga is great in it.
She is great.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are moments that you're like, okay, yeah, maybe a better actress could have pulled this off a little bit better, but it's really kind of nitpicking a performance and everything. And Sam fucking Elliott is amazing in this too.
Really?
He's never been nominated for an Oscar. I think he might get one for this.
Really?
Yeah, he's that good.
I'm really, really interested in this one, just
I am
as
too.
like an outside observer. I was just back from Texas, and my fiance's mom went to the theater for a third time to go see it. Like,
Jeez.
people are really enjoying this
Yeah.
movie.
And it's one of those, like, it was second place over the weekend to Venom.
Yeah.
I think it might actually end up overtaking
but
Venom.
still made a ton of money.
It still made a
Yeah.
ton. It made
Yeah.
about half of what Venom made.
I
over
cannot
the
believe Venom made that much money.
Yeah, I can't either. But
Tom Hardy's a sexy man.
yeah, he kind of is. But it made about
He
half
is just
on the
cheating on you.
half on the opening weekend. But I think it's going to over time it will probably pass.
Well, yeah,
I think
it's
so.
going to be in theaters for forever, right?
Yeah.
A Star Is Born?
Yeah, it will be. It'll be until January probably.
And I've already
Those
seen
times.
people. A lot of people are, a lot of critics will predict like what they think are going to be the 8 or 10 nominations,
Mhm.
and that seems to be like the front runner right now. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of these movies haven't come out, but that seems to be the front runner for Best Picture, which is unfortunate that there's not a big Martin Scorsese film coming out, because Bradley Cooper beating Martin Scorsese would just be so fitting.
Oh my God.
Because Costner and Costner did it.
Yeah, and
Beatty.
Redford.
Yeah. Was it Redford?
Or
it
Beatty.
was Redford. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was not Warren Beatty.
Yeah.
Does Dave Chappelle have a big role in that?
No.
No.
It's essentially the role
I
that you
guess they're
see in
really-
the trailer.
And I guess they're really good friends, because you brought up that on the podcast, that Saturday Night Live, where he was like,
Yeah.
and Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a point where they go to Memphis and Dave Chappelle is in Memphis, I guess.
All right.
And like it's at a low point for Bradley Cooper's character.
What is I can't tell what the music is though. Like, what is he like what kind of singer is he? Is he kind of like just a commercial artist?
Yeah, it's rock. It's
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say it has some sort of country flavor.
Well,
to
that's
it,
kind of
but-
what the '76 one was too, with Christopherson and
yeah,
Streisand.
but it's
so.
not. It's not like country twang country.
It's not Rhinestone. It's
Yeah,
not-
yeah, exactly. But it is kind of weird though that he plays this certain kind of music and then he brings her out on stage to sing this very pop type of ballad type of song, which you see in the trailer and everything. Also in this movie, and it might be just because he's filming this from his character's perspective, but her rise to stardom is so fast. Like it is unbelievably, and I mean that in the literal sense, fast. And it could be one of those things because it's from his perspective, that, because he spends a lot of the time in the movie drunk and on drugs and stuff, that the information is coming to him that fast. Cause it feels like, goddamn, like she's on the stage and then gets a manager and then it gets a manager within 2 shows
She's
or
doing
something.
like a Visa commercial,
And then she's doing a Visa commercial. But no, she's there's a point where it's right after one of the second or third shows or whatever. He's like, "We got you Saturday Night Live," and I was like, "Fuck me, man!" But I think it is either that fast and unbelievably that fast, or that is supposed to be from his. I can see it from his.
how is he as a filmmaker?
I think it's good. I think it's very solid.
I mean, if they're giving him that much money, I mean, it's a major studio. I mean, I can't imagine he's bad.
Yeah,
I
mean,
they knew what was going on. So.
You know, it's there's some scenes in there, like the opening scene has a pretty good unbroken shot, not like a showy unbroken shot, but it starts off with like one of those. The performances on stage are shot really well. You know, and obviously he's got a touch with actors too, because everybody in there that he's got, even Andrew Dice Clay, who I know he's been on this comeback track where he hasn't been necessarily been doing shot comedy and stuff like that, but he's been an actor. I've seen him be an actor in certain movies, and he's good. Andrew Dice Clay, and he's Lady Gaga's dad.
He was so good in Blue Jasmine.
Yeah. Blue Jasmine was sort of where he started all this.
Yeah.
I think now that they are starting to put him, he's no longer interested in all that, that shot comedy and all that. Maybe he still is, but he seems to be more interested in, like, I can be a good actor.
And it sounds like he's putting the attention on the other actor. I mean, just basically what you're saying, how good Sam Elliott and stuff is, like, it's not Bradley Cooper's movie.
Yeah. Although certainly he's
good.
Very good too.
Sure
It's a different kind of performance for him. He does something with his voice that's a lot different, because usually Bradley Cooper sounds like Bradley Cooper in every movie he's in. This one, he's got a gravelly voice all the way through, and a lot of it has to do with the drugs and alcohol. I think I think I will have to see it again to see how much of a great filmmaker he is or whatever. I'd say the basics, he's definitely got that down. And there's a lot of scenes with great humor in it, and Lady Gaga's got some scenes in there too. Like, the movie doesn't really pull any punches a lot of times, and I think that's another fun part of it too.
Do you think she could? I'm not sorry, I don't mean to make this like a mini review, but do you think this is something where she could do other? No, I know she was on American Horror Story.
Yeah.
But do you think this is something she could do other things, or do you think this is like an Eminem, Jennifer Hudson?
No. I think she's a real deal, man.
I mean, I guess Hudson technically has done other things, but Eminem definitely.
Yeah, I get the sense that Eminem will always play Eminem.
Yeah.
But Lady Gaga can play a lot of different things. Like, I think I got that indication from her Saturday Night Live appearance where she did the one thing with Timberlake and she did that.
The threesome,
the golden rule. Yeah.
And there's a scene in there where, like, they've had their threesome or whatever, and then she comes in, she's eating cereal, and she says, "You guys are still here." And there was just something about it was done very well that I was like, I think she's got a little bit more acting talent than we would possibly give her credit for from the the sideshow that she is when she's not singing and all that, which is a shame, I feel like. Because I feel like Lady Gaga should be, like, way higher up on a pedestal the way she sings.
Oh yeah, and I'm glad. And there's that scene in the preview which felt very She's All That kind of, where she's like, people don't like the way I look, and I'm just like, come on.
Yeah, there's
but that might have very well happened to her in her. That probably.
I imagine it did.
Yeah, but you're still just like, really?
They're talking about. There's a funny thing about her nose in there that I think they do a really good job on too. But yeah, I bet she did go through a lot of that stuff when she was getting up there.
Yeah, I think her chops kind of make sense. I mean, like you're saying, when she's so over the top whenever she's performing, that she's performing all the time. Like, she's always playing some kind of character, some weird, awkward, plastic pope, at a ward. Like, that's not really her. Like, she's playing a character all the time. So I'm not surprised that she's able to act. It makes sense.
And I'd seen her a little bit on the American Horror Story stuff. I haven't.
She was all right on that.
I haven't seen that season.
I didn't like that season, but she wasn't the problem.
But I saw.
But she won a Golden Globe for that. I think.
I think she did. But that was one thing that I remember flipping past. I think it was the first episode of that season. And I was like, I might be able to get into this. And then
it was a cool.
Well, that's kind of like Marilyn Manson was in a horror movie recently, right?
Let Me Make You a Martyr.
Yeah, and people were saying, he was pretty good. And I'm like, well, that, like, same thing. That wouldn't really surprise me.
And he was on Sons of Anarchy too, right?
Yeah, and he was supposed to be good on that. But he plays a character every night he performs. So
he's
I mean, he's acting already. I think it's the same thing with her.
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense, like you're saying.
Anybody have any warns?
I don't have a strong warn. Does anyone have a strong warn?
Me and Jacob got a shared one, I think.
Go ahead, Luke, and we'll see if mine's shared.
So, I mean, if you don't already know, then it's not.
Okay.
But you will agree.
I probably will.
There was a movie that was really, really popular about 2 years ago. It was called House Llc.
Definitely on this one.
And some people say it's the greatest found footage horror movie of all time.
No.
I don't agree with that. but it's definitely an acceptable found footage.
It's strong.
It's good.
It's strong.
It's good.
Yeah. It's a terrible landing. So this sequel has been in the works since that first movie. Shudder, the service that I was just raving about, picked it up as an exclusive. And goddamn, is it awful?
Oh wow!
So if you are one of those people that saw that original movie and are pumped for a sequel, don't be.
Good to know. I hadn't watched it yet, so good.
Is
to
it
know.
the same like found footage
To a fault.
genre? Really?
It's just the same.
Really?
But everything's the same, but worse. I actually didn't finish the movie. I only made it about 20 minutes in. And for anyone that listens to the show, no, that's very unlike me. Jacob did finish it.
I did finish.
But at 15 minutes in, I got to a point to where I had to come to like the sober realization that there's nothing happening on screen right now that us in this room or anyone at your local high school could do. The acting is awful. The camera work is awful. The sets are awful. And it's just weird because the first movie was acceptable, arguably good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I enjoyed the first one all the way up until the end.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's what they're going to do. They're going to fix that.
I think
and they'll
that's
go to the end.
I think that's a good way to put
Yeah,
it.
and then they'll fix the end on this one, right? Because they learned their lesson. Wrong. They took the end and they're make the movie out of the end, basically.
Oh.
No, thank you.
Awful.
It's real bad.
All right.
Beware.
I've got a weak Recco warn, I guess, because a lot of people like this one. It was a little too much by the ending of me, and this one was hit or miss with the horror genre, and that's Summer of '84.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, see, I think you're in the camp yeah, it's acceptable, or no, it had a lot of potential, and I think that's why I'm kind of nah. And then it decided to have 5 different endings, and if they would have just picked one, it would have been great.
They were all good endings.
Yeah, you just
but,
pick one.
They
but
just
when
kept-
you keep ending over and over, you're like, too much.
It's the Lord of the Rings of Stranger Things ripoff.
Whoa, not even that bad. Calm down, sir.
No, but
Calm down.
they did not. I mean, they did not market it well in the sense that they made it seem like it was going to to be Stranger Things meets the Monster Squad or something. And I don't think it's anything like that.
Neither do they.
And it's
So we talked to them.
That's what I don't think they did.
So we were at the film festival with them, and the first thing they were quick to say, because this is is it KRSS?
Yeah,
the filmmaking team, the French Canadian guys and girls. But they were like, yeah, we read this script before Stranger Things was even a thing. So we wanted to make sure that people didn't just think it was Stranger Things. And if you watch the movie, it's not Stranger Things, other than the fact that there's
kids in the 80s.
There's kids on bikes.
Yeah.
That's about as far as it goes. What it is damn near, a remake of Disturbia. I mean, it's almost the exact same
I had
movie.
the exact same
but
feeling.
not a good Disturbia.
Not a good Disturbia. Not a bad movie. Technically proficient. Did you guys watch Turbo Kid?
No.
It's a recommend. But this is their new
Wrong
movie.
segment.
It's not great. It's not great.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not holding that against it. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, this isn't Stranger Things, I don't like it. No, but I know that just seeing the previews and stuff, they were definitely trying to make it seem like that's what it was, and you watch it and it's something completely different. I think Disturbia is a great comparison.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't say shit about Disturbia.
No.
They're like, this is nothing like Stranger Things. Like, what about Disturbia?
Notice how conveniently they didn't
Or like
say Disturbia.
even something like I don't know if you guys ever saw Lady in White. It's kind of similar to that too, especially with the serial killer aspect to it. So
Do you have a warrant, Jonathan?
I do. It's not a huge one, but I will say, okay, so I was out of town last week. I took my wife and my daughter, and I went to Disney for the week, and so I missed the movies that came out the last week in September and the movies that came out the first week of October. So when we got back on Saturday, Sunday night, I'm like, I'm gonna go see a movie, and just the one that worked out for the time for me to go that night was fucking Hellfest. And have you guys seen Hellfest?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I don't know why this has to be a warning, but I keep seeing people you're not people that work with you, but other journalists and writers that like horror movies touting the fuck out of this thing and just it's so much fun. It's like, this is the exact opposite of fun.
Yep.
Can't trust them.
I don't like.
Can't trust this.
This might be the worst cast of slasher kids, and I don't even know how long. There's not a likable person, and the only one that's sort of likable, they kill first.
Yeah, it's a bad bad movie.
Bad.
It's a useless movie.
And then it's supposed to. But my favorite part, which I won't give away the ending, but that final minute is supposed. I know it's supposed to be so powerful, and I just laughed.
Yeah,
because it was just. It did not hit me the way it was supposed to hit me.
I mean, if you're going to have a theatrical, if you're going to have Hellfest, that's cool, but it either needs to be bloody or it needs to be funny. And it's neither one of those things.
No, it's just a slog. It's just dull. And the problem is with the ending is that it's kind of one of those moments where it's like they want to, it's not preachy. Well, yeah, it kind of is preachy, but it's definitely one of those things like, we're not just a slash 'em up movie. This is something more important. Like, this is politically relevant and all this bullshit. It's like, yeah, but for the first hour and 28 minutes, you were a fucking slash and stalk and kill movie. And then now in this last minute, you're going to be like, oh, but, here's this.
You're going to be Steven Seagal and On the Deadly Ground.
Yeah. Remember like the old episodes of South
It's definitely
Park?
not that. I don't want people. That would be odd. That would have made the movie a recommend.
Yeah.
Seagal just shows up like all fat and
Hey
bloated.
guys, I want you to know about the digging in Alaska's oil pipelines.
But because they do this whole thing where like it's not really a mystery, but like I guess you don't really know who the person is, and then you find out like in the last couple of minutes why they don't want you. They want to make it like that way on purpose, and it's just
It's like the old episodes of South Park where the episode would end pretty much, and Stan or Kyle, someone would be like, you know what, guys, I learned something today. It's just like that.
I wanted the star to come across. The more you know.
That's disappointing because I remember we did that. We mentioned it in the fall preview.
Yeah.
It's funny that Barrett and Jeremy looked at me like I was insane when I mentioned it because I saw it on Box Office Mojo's schedule and everything, and then I was like, I don't know, it's a movie coming
The
out.
only thing I was like, thank God I have AMC A-list, because if I had spent like $15 on that, I would have been really pissed.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it looked like one of those movies that might be fun.
I was defending
that's
it,
what
man.
I thought.
Yeah.
All right, well, all of that horror and A Star is Born in a Good Place.
That's right, baby. Keep it wholesome.
All right, so everybody can find you at modernhorrors.com and the podcast, which has at least, 4 or 5 different
subsidiary
things. Yeah,
and we just today finally got on Spotify too, so all the shows
Hey,
are
congrats,
on
man.
Spotify.
I saw that
awesome.
announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
awesome. Congrats.
So their process has been kind of shitty for a while, so I'm sure you guys probably know, but we finally got on there. So
That's
yeah,
awesome,
and you
man.
guys are hopefully going to be making this God Country movie, and that's sort of in the works, not officially announced, but
sure it is now.
Well, it is now there.
Exclusive.
it's not official though. I mean, we're saying you're doing it. We're not really saying it's coming out, or
sure.
anything like that. But
we'll be back on when it does.
Yeah, man.
yeah, that'll be great. And I can't wait to send it too.
Oh man, you guys have to.
Yeah.
For real.
That'd be
It's
great.
just like if the Ables ever becomes a movie series or whatever, we're gonna send the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
who the fuck wrote this? So, we're going to have a Patreon.
Yeah, exciting news. Starting today, Cinemasins has a Patreon page. Now, that covers everything that Cinemasins is the umbrella for. TV sins, music video sins, the podcast, all that stuff is covered under this Patreon account.
And we're going to be doing some pretty cool things with the podcast. I think we're thinking about doing a live version of this at some point.
We are looking at doing a live version of this. One of the perks that you get at actually the highest level is every month you get to chat with us, with Chris, Jeremy, and me, and a few other guests, to come in, ask whatever you want to. We answer it live. We'll be in the studio where we record this podcast, and we can hear directly from you.
And there's a perk also where you pull your dick out, right?
That's a hidden perk.
And I'm not saying in front of everybody. It's just that you do it, and people just know around the
Way it goes.
world that
Yeah,
it's been unsheathed.
It's there. Yeah, it's
So,
out there.
yeah.
He took it out.
Yeah, he took it out. He's like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, look for this. It's going to be on the YouTube channel, on the Cinemasins channel. It's going to be on Twitter. It's going to be everywhere on Reddit. We'll give you more information. It's live right now. Go to it. If you feel like becoming a patron of Cinemasins, go ahead, man. We really, really appreciate your Patreonage.
Yeah, your Patreon judge,
Yes.
whatever. Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for listening, and
Yes.
thanks for watching and everything. So that's what this is all for. And boy, this is going to be exciting.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But all right, well, you can respond to us on SinCast presented by Cinemasins on Facebook. Cinemasins Twitter, SoundCloud, Reddit. There's a lot of ways to come reach us and ask questions and all that. But that'll do it for this week. It's
Yeah.
Chris Atkinson, Barrett Scher, Jonathan Watkins, Jacob Hopkins, and Luke Rodriguez. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. Comment on our episodes on our SoundCloud page. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. And be sure to visit cinemasins.com.
had to pause for a breath.
There's so many fucks in here. God damn.
Yeah.
Oh God, you're not prepared.
right?
Jesus fucking Christ! I bet Luke's not prepared either.
I told John.
I got
this,
told at like
3
1
hours.
o'clock. Yeah, like 1 o'clock.
Look, I don't want to hear your excuses, sir. I got told like yesterday, and then waited till about 3 o'clock today to do it.
So this will be like modern horrors then.
It's exactly.
Oh yeah. I don't want to be disingenuous.
No one get the wrong impression that we
Right.
prepare for things. That'd be silly.
Check. Oh wow, this is a new thing.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Barrett's like, fuck you guys. I got the real deal headphones right here.
This is fucking weird. You know who has a good sounding podcast?
Jacob.
Who's that?
NASA.
I hope so.
Fucking-
God, man.
Yeah. What if it sounded like shit? Like what would that tell you?
the whole fucking time.
Yeah. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it sounded like shit because
It'd
they
be
got
kinda
better shit to
cool.
do.
It would just sound, if it
that
just,
is true, actually.
If it just sounded like ground control, like
oh my God. I would actually prefer it to sound like
that'd
that.
be kind of cool, actually.
But no, man, I was listening to something the other day and I was like, God, this sounds amazing. And then I saw it on their NASA channel.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were using these or the RE-20s or something like that. And God,
We're using the
Sounded
same
good.
shit NASA does. What's up,
That's
bitch?
right.
Let's land some assholes on the moon. What do they talk about on the NASA podcast? I'm
Oh, you're
intrigued
serious?
now.
They actually have a podcast? Like you're not joking?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, fuck.
That would have been a real elaborate joke.
I know.
For very little payoff.
I've been sitting over here trying to figure out the joke.
Okay, where's the punchline?
that'd be wild.
Fuck, did I miss it already?
No, what is it about? Just
a really
NASA?
clever, smart
Yeah,
person.
NASA stuff.
Punchline.
The one that I listened to is about a simulation where you can actually program yourself to, get the launch
Talk dirty
vectors
to
and
me.
everything,
Talk
and
dirty to me.
to get to the moon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That went somewhere else.
And
And
if something goes wrong midway, you have to course correct, and then also worry about the course vectors and stuff like that, and the gravitational fields from the
Yeah.
Earth and from the moon.
Get my Tom Hanks on. I got you.
Mm-hmm. Get my
Yeah, see? He gets my movie jokes.
yeah, that's right, baby.
Far and few between, but they'll be there.
Soon it'll be getting your Ryan Gosling on.
Hell yeah.
I can't fucking wait for that movie.
I'm sure you can't.
I don't like
you're
it.
Not, you're not looking
No,
forward to
I am.
I didn't like the way you said that.
You just have sex with Whiplash every night. So I know you love that.
I
dude.
watched that last scene again last night, and yeah, I had sex to it.
Hell yeah.
I get whiplash as a result of sex.
You can only have sex with J.K. Simmons talking. Yeah.
You've seen Whiplash, right?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh.
You would like Whiplash a lot
Well,
as a drummer.
Oh, yeah.
And it's oddly
yeah.
enough a Blumhouse production.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
it's,
right.
it's Damien Chazelle. But like the last scene, I won't give anything away. The last scene though is like they've got an acrimonious relationship. J.K. Simmons is a teacher, and Miles Teller is the student.
Uh-huh.
And at the last performance, where he starts playing and everything, and takes J.K. Simmons by surprise, like while he's playing and he's doing this amazing shit, like Miles Teller takes the second to go to J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
And then J.K. Simmons comes over and he's like, "I will destroy your life," and he hits him with a cymbal right in his face. It's fucking
With
great.
a symbol?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, he's leaning into the kit, so he hits the
Okay.
cymbal for it. Yeah. Whiplash is intense, man.
Yeah.
That's an intense movie.
I don't know if it's a pleasant experience.
Should
It's
check that
very
out.
good.
Is it on
It
like
is.
something?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, it's not, because if it were, I'd be having a lot of sex.
Okay, we ready for the intro?
Yeah,
And by
yeah,
the way,
let's do
you sound weird to me, and I don't know if it's.
I've had something on my chest these last
I
few
don't know
years.
if it's because yes, exactly. Since 1985.